Good morning, everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. It's a game night. Well, Thursday, very odd feel to it, but it's a big one. The Eagles and Commanders tonight with first place in the division at stake. And I'm pretty confident about the Eagles in this game. And the reason I'm confident, there are two reasons, really. One is I don't think that Washington is prepared for a game this big in their growing up phase. And also, I think they had a lot rougher game on Sunday than the Eagles did. So I think the bounce-back factor is very important. The home game factor is very important. The place will be lit up tonight. I'm pretty confident that the Eagles take a dub here and cover. But we'll talk about it because there's a lot of stuff that we have to go over today with this game. And the matchups, we're going to see a pretty good quarterback tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was reading a stat here that as good as the Eagles' defense has been, this is like a chat room with some athletic guys, right? Now, I don't know whether this guy has an agenda or not, but I'll just read what he has to say. The Eagles' pass defense is legit, but it also helps when 33% of their games have come against Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, and Cooper Rush. If you remove those three contests, the Eagles' 220 passing yards allowed per game would rank 23rd in the league. We're talking about how great the secondary is. Let me go to Mr. Football here. Mr. Touchdown. Bill Colarulo in the house. Of course, along with Ray Dunn. Bill, how does that make you feel, that little statistic?
It's an important one, but you can only play who's on your schedule. We know that old cliche. And it's not as if the Philadelphia Eagles defense is just squeaking by these teams. They're doing things that are historic in what they're doing. And, yeah, Daniel Jones, not a good quarterback. Deshaun Watson, not a good quarterback. I think Joe Burrow's a pretty damn good quarterback. And this defense had no problems against him. So you can only play who's on your schedule. And I see people consistently saying that, right? The Eagles haven't played anybody. Eagles haven't played anybody. Just take a look at who Washington's played. Have you taken a look at who their 7 wins are against? Because they've played Daniel Jones twice.
Yeah.
They beat the Bengals. They beat the Cleveland Browns. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They barely beat the Chicago Bears. The only team that the Commanders have beaten with a winning record was the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. So you look at the winning percentage of the teams the Commanders have beaten, it's .318. It's actually less than the .328 winning percentage of the Eagles' opponents. So you're going to learn a lot tonight. I'm excited. It's fun that you have an NFC East opponent that's 7-3. The game matters. But I'm not worried about, look at who the Eagles have played because they're dominating.
All right, let's just go over a couple things. This chat, I don't know, the guy who's writing this, his name is Saad Yousuf. Has he covered the Commanders for the Athletic? Do we know? I don't know who this guy is, but it's a 4-way chat with people that cover the team. So Brooks Kubina, who covers, this is the Athletic staff. He covers the Eagles. Dan Duggan, Ben Standig, all these guys cover every one of the teams. So Saad is the Cowboys guy. All right, well, then that's legit. So anyway, the Eagles enter this game the second-ranked defense in yards allowed per game. The Commanders enter with the 4th-ranked offense in average yards gained. And one of the things that we're looking at is the return of a couple of important players for the Commanders. They're going to get their right tackle back. And also Brian Robinson, who didn't play last week, was banged up, will be back in this one. So one of the writers says, with Robinson back, I'll give the edge to the Commanders' offense. The Commanders have such a diverse attack. Robinson's ability to grind yards between the tackles, a creative screen game that gashes defense, a true number 1 wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, and Daniel's magic with his legs. I give the edge to the Commanders, the guy goes. And you're not buying. Look at Bill's smirking. Right? Yeah. Come on, that's false praise.
Well, look, I get that the Eagles haven't played anybody, but this defense is flying around. They've really looked good, Mike. And this is going to be a great test, and I think a lot of people maybe will understand how good this Eagles defense is, but they are a really good defense. And, yeah, the Commanders have a great offense. You're right. They're sitting there top 4 in total offense, top 3 in points scored, and they've run the football pretty efficiently. They have the number 4 rushing offense in the NFL. But what have the Eagles done really well?
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. Listen, I think they're a better team than the Commanders right now. I don't know how it's going to shake out at the end. I think the Eagles are on a better roll. And I think the timing is right. The fact that they didn't play in the fourth quarter was very beneficial to them, I think, as far as coming fresh into this game. Well, that other team had to really stress it out. That matters to me normally, especially with just 3 days between games. And of course, you haven't mentioned that the Eagles apparently right now have an edge in coaching. and so to reinforce that point, can we go to the great sage Fletcher Cox, who was on, Ray, what was he on?
Kay Adams, Up and Adams show.
Oh, the Up and Adams show.
Yep, Fletcher Cox.
So Fletcher Cox is sounding off, and one of the things he talked about was the brilliance of one Nick Sirianni. Let's hear it.
Let's look at Nick's history. What he got? Playoffs, Super Bowl, playoffs. I mean, all he does is win, right? He find a way. And, with a coach like that, that can rally up a team of men and do what he's doing every year in and year out. Even when swapping coordinators the last 2 years, the way that things have been going, they're finding ways to win. And I think, this team could get scary in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
As it get cold, they can run the ball really good. And he always said, and always from every coach, teams that can run the ball in November, December when it gets cold, those are teams that can go deep into it. But I know he's taking these guys one game at a time and, one team at a time. But I got nothing but respect for Nick, since day one.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Mike? Something we've been saying a lot on this show.
Of course, Kay Adams had to throw in there. Yeah. They throw in a little guest glossing, I call it.
Yeah.
but in any event, there you go. Fletch on board. Wasn't Fletch disgruntled at one point by his usage under Sirianni?
Yeah, but I think that was more about the way Gannon was using him
as a coordinator
before. But
Yeah.
look, Fletcher Cox is a guy who played under Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson, now Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
And he's saying exactly what I have been saying. All this guy does is win. Doesn't matter that they've changed coordinators almost every single season since he's been here. What's been the constant? The head coach, they keep winning. And he gives you his resume. Playoffs, Super Bowl appearance, playoffs. And now they're on track for the fourth straight year. Going to the playoffs under Nick Sirianni. This guy is a good coach, man. He brings the team together.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here because you get so syrupy that I can't take it.
Syrupy.
They're in first place. When they asked the question about Nick Sirianni, what's he supposed to say? Like, he's riding high right now. So, like, what he said, that has to be said. He can't say, well, I don't know about the Sirianni guy. They're in first place.
He went on for a while there. How long was that clip, Ray? That was almost a minute clip of him praising our head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, you can't deny the record, Mike.
Yes,
you can't deny how good this guy is.
Anything I want.
And then, an article dropped this morning about our head coach, Nick Sirianni, from Tim McManus, who will be joining the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
You saw this article.
Yeah, I saw it. Here's what I saw. That the coach couldn't figure out what the offensive linemen figured out. That they'd be a better team if they ran the football.
No.
So 3 offensive linemen barge into his office and go, "Hey, idiot, we got to play this way."
No.
Basically, that's what I got from the story. Ray, how about you? Did you get that from that story?
I'll be honest with you.
Stop.
I see this one kind of on Bill's side.
Oh, Ray's with me. So, hold on. So, the people understand what we're talking about here.
So this is what was after the game? Like, what was it? When was it?
It was after the loss to
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was during the bye week.
After the loss to Tampa Bay, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and Landon Dickerson knock on the door. Hey, can we talk? Yeah, come sit down, Sirianni says. And so it was just reminding him that you have weapons in the air, on the ground. You have a hell of an offensive line. We wanted to lead with, hey, before Saquon got here, you had us. Now you have us in Saquon. So use it. That's what basically they said.
See, you look at it.
He didn't figure it out that way. They figured it out.
You look at it in a cynical way that, the offensive lineman had to go in and tell their coach, this is the way we should do it. I look at it as This is a really good head coach. This is a head coach that's got an open door where his players feel comfortable coming to him and giving him some things that they've noticed, how they feel about the offense. And instead of just either not talking to them at all or dismissing them and having this mightier than thou mentality, he takes what they say. He goes to Kellen Moore and the offensive staff and says, hey, look, maybe we should be a little bit more run heavy, and look at the success they've had. I think this is a quality in a head coach.
It's great, yeah. Except he didn't ponder it until they told him. So, like in a quiet moment, he could have pondered the same thing. Listen, I'm only playing the other side because sometimes I get a little crazy when you constantly tickle Nick Sirianni's butt hairs. So I have to add some kind of counterbalance to it.
I like winning, man. That's all I'm saying is I like winning. And people, there it is, Ray. Drop it. Drop it.
All right, we'll talk about it. I want to hear your analytical approach to the game. I'm talking about the listeners and the texters at 610-632-0975. What are you feeling about this game? We're all confident here they're going to win the game. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show, and we're off and running. 13. Well, I got to mention this. This is a football-oriented day, but your Sixers on a back-to-back made it a game last night. Ray was down there. Ray not expecting to be as excited as he was. The Sixers lose as expected, but I advised all my clients last night to play the Sixers. It'd be a cover, and sure enough, they covered because that other team came in a little bored, thinking that they would just run roughshod over the depleted Sixers. And Jared McCain goes off for his best game as a pro. And you're thinking, wow, they have something dynamic in this kid. I didn't think he would be this efficient and this confident in the NBA this early. So at least they kind of discovered something here. So when they get it all together, he comes off the bench and has meaningful minutes instead of garbage minutes.
Yeah, I saw the Sixers send out the post-game notes. They said Jared McCain's stat line last night, only Jason Kidd and Steph Curry have ever done as a rookie in NBA history. That's pretty impressive company, man.
Yeah, I think Nick Nurse was listening to the show yesterday when I said, why, Nick, would you give Jeff Doughton 25 minutes? So he only gave him 5 last night.
Already watched Jeff Doughton in the 5 minutes he played.
Yeah, that could be it too, right?
That end of first quarter lineup of it was Doughton, Gordon, Martin, and Bona.
Yeah.
I was really ready to go into the concourse.
But here, be comforted, folks, because this part of the season means nothing. We're just trying to get to the meaningful part of the season. So we just kind of want to shave off 30 games. And on that note, some ex-NBA player advised the Sixers to shut Embiid down.
I saw that.
Chandler Parsons says a lot of stuff on his whatever his podcast is. Where is he? What's he do?
He's on. Was it Run It Back on FanDuel TV?
Run It Back on FanDuel TV.
Run It Back. Yep.
So do we have what he had to say?
Oh yeah, we do.
All right, let's hear what he has to say about Joel.
You have to start planning this season for sure without Joel Embiid.
Gotcha.
How many times more are you going to put him out there when they know how severe it is? I can't not trust my eyes. I see Joel Embiid. He's in pain. He's not running back. He's not sprinting. He's not changing directions. He's doing nothing that he was doing when he was the MVP. So this is a completely different player. He's not himself, which is why I feel for the guy. And I know him media-wise. He's getting scrutinized. He wants to play. And I'm telling you, it's just going to make it worse. So I see this coming to an end here real soon, and I feel for the guy, but I think long term this is best. He just re-signed his contract. I think it's going to get shut down here soon. They have to plan with going with Drummond, going with Missanelli. They have to go with these guys because I just don't see a world this season where Joel Embiid is back to himself. You have to.
First of all, it's an idiotic take. What are they? How's that going to benefit him, Joel Embiid? We sat the whole season. So we're going to preserve him this whole year so you can play him next year? You can't do anything about it. This is what he is. Shutting him down is not going to help things.
See, I think the problem here is we haven't been getting clear messaging from the team, because him saying that on his podcast is because he's looking at Joel thinking he's not 100% healthy with the knee.
It was one game. He saw one game. He saw lethargic Embiid who didn't want to press anything.
Yeah, you and I saw a lethargic Embiid. But I think from the outside looking in, who maybe aren't following what's going on, and all they know is that the Sixers were fined for not being forthcoming about the knee injury, they think all of this is related to the knee, and we still haven't been told that by the Sixers. If, in fact, the knee was aggravated, if there was an injury, if that was what set everything back. So I still think we need some clear messaging from the team as far as what happened with the
clear messaging. He's not injured. They're just taking it easy. They're managing him.
Yeah, and that's then goes to my point from yesterday, is if he's not injured and they're managing him and he's been ramping up for 2 months, how's he that out of shape? That was the whole point yesterday.
Because that's what he does. That's his MO. His MO is normally not to be in the best shape that he can be in.
Well, he could get back into, like, I get you get into basketball shape playing basketball. But is there more going on with the knee? And that's what this guy's talking about. Who was it? Was it Bill Simmons who talked about, he compared Joel Embiid right now to Shaquille O'Neal's Phoenix Suns era.
Yeah, but-
did you see that? I mean,
Yeah.
these are people who aren't following what's going on.
No, listen, we talked about Shaq yesterday. Bill Simmons has been calling for the end for Embiid for like the last 5 years. Like, with all due respect on that one.
With all due respect, I have no respect for him. So
Bill Simmons has been, the last 5 years, he's been calling for the end of Embiid.
I have trouble accepting people who start out in this industry as fans, who they had no base, no background at all in journalism to study or analyze.
Yeah, what was Bill Simmons' background?
Fan, he's a Boston Celtic fan who wrote a blog.
Oh, that's how he got his thing?
Yeah. All right. 610-632-0975. Let's go to the text board before we get to the phones. Text on McManus's story.
Yes.
All right. So what do we have on? What are people saying?
So John V. checked it in. That article you just read made me have much more respect for Nick Sirianni. My confidence in this team this season is even higher. This season is just different than last year, and I can't wait for people to stop comparing this year to last year.
How? Please explain to me how. When people come in and tell the coach this is the best way we will function, that he did not recognize, how is that more respect for Nick Sirianni? Like, please, I'm trying to be objective here.
Well, first of all, you're assuming that Nick Sirianni didn't recognize that they had a successful running game.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
You're just assuming that if they didn't come in, that the Eagles were never going to run the football. I think in that article it also talks about how they went from before that meeting running the ball 30 times a game to running the ball 40 times a game. So it's not like they just had abandoned the run early, but to have an open door policy as a head coach and your offensive line basically comes in and says, hey, put it on us, and then you accept that and say, all right, guys, you want the challenge, we're going to give it to you. I'm going to listen to what you're saying. We're going to go with a run-heavy approach and put it on your shoulders. I think that shows a lot on the part of your head coach. To have that open door policy,
How many offensive coaches do they have?
On the offensive staff?
Yeah.
A ton.
Okay. He's the main guy, too. Sirianni. He's the main offensive head.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. When things are good, Kellen Moore's the main guy.
He's the king. Everything has to go through him. Kellen Moore is there as the coordinator, right? Nick Sirianni basically is the maestro of what they want to do offensively. So, like, I just, it's mind-boggling how we see this differently. Like, you see it as a good thing that players have to come in and say, listen, we are a really good offensive line and we got a really good running back, and this should be our focus because it also will make our quarterback better. They didn't recognize that. The coaching staff,
but how do you
led
know
by
they didn't recognize
by King Offense.
But how do you know they didn't recognize it?
Well, because the players came in and had to make the pitch.
But listen, at that point in the season, the Eagles were 2-2, and they're a Saquon Barkley drop pass away from being 3-1. And the only game where they lost, they didn't have Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, or Devontae Smith. So at the bye, when they self-scout, how do we know that if it wasn't for the offensive lineman coming in, the Eagles weren't going to run the football?
Is he a pass-running offensive man or not? Pass-oriented.
Most NFL coaches
I'm not
are
asking about
pass-heavy.
most NFL I'm asking about one guy. I'm asking about your guy. What is his MO mostly? What's the organization's MO for the reason why they hired him in the first place? What did they want to do?
The organization's MO in the past has been a pass-heavy approach.
Thank you.
But when I look at Nick Sirianni, I don't see a guy who only has one way of coaching. In 2021, when they went 2-5, and he realized the best way for us to have success was run the football, what did they do? They ran the football. See, this is what I like about Sirianni. Not only does he build a good culture, I think he does adapt to his players' strengths.
Much good.
You can't say that about a lot of coaches. I mean, you look at Kevin O'Connell last year, they get Josh Dobbs in the middle of the season. When they let Dobbs be Dobbs, they were winning games. And then Kevin O'Connell says, no, you're going to run my offense. You're going to run the same offense Kirk Cousins was running, and then Dobbs just disappeared, and the Vikings didn't do anything.
Yeah,
you got to be willing to adapt as a head coach.
You know what, Ray? Bill is a maple tree. You tap him, and the syrup flows. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show on a game night. Back after this. Show is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. I got some new tunes that we're getting currently processed for our returns.
Are they good?
One of them being Hole. Were you a fan of the band Hole?
Give me a song. I'm only happy when it rains.
No, that's garbage.
Oh, that's garbage.
The Hole is Courtney Love.
Courtney Love. Yeah, what was her songs? I'm trying to think.
And the sky was all violet. Come on, you know these songs.
I know them.
I actually was a big fan of Hole. A lot of people were Courtney Love haters. I happen to think that she was a really cool rock chick.
What is she up to now?
Nothing.
She's not doing anything?
She doesn't do anything. You know, she just had her place in the rock scene for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I brought that up.
Because you didn't like the song
the
you
Hole,
came back
the
with.
Hole. I was thinking the Hole. So, for some reason. In any event, 610-622-0975. I want to go over some statistics here. And Bill, this is for your perusal because I want you to, like, all these stats that I throw out, I want you to kind of, like, wade through them and tell me what they mean. So the Eagles are averaging 25.9 points per game. That's 7th in the NFL. In the red zone, they're 10th. And they've scored 28-plus points in the last 4 games. Washington's defense, conversely, allowing only 21.7 points per game. That's 12th in the league. But their third down defense is woeful at 23rd.
Their red zone defense is even worse. 30th in the red zone.
Jalen Hurts, for the season, 12 TDs, 5 interceptions, but a 103.4 rate versus a Washington secondary that last week gave up 3 TDs to Russell Wilson, but held him under 200 yards. What's that mean?
I saw another interesting stat as you're talking about their pass defense. So A.J. Brown, as you've said, is unguardable on that slant.
Uh-huh.
He's the top-ranked wide receiver versus man coverage this season. Washington runs man coverage close to 34% of the time, which is top 7 in the NFL. So you would think if they come out and they try to run a man defense against this Eagles offense, I think A.J. and Devontae will have their way. But what I really expect them to do is because what you didn't really talk about, the Commanders are 28th against the run. They're giving up 4.9 yards a carry.
I was going to get there.
Yeah.
I was going to get there. I got a bunch of stats here that I'm going to lay on you.
So, but what I think is going to happen tonight is the Eagles will come out, and the Commanders are going to try to sell out to stop the run. And once they do that and they leave their corners in man coverage against A.J. and Devontae and even Dallas Goedert, that's why I think the Eagles have the advantage.
There's a new corner in town. Washington hasn't played wide receivers and tight ends very well this year. However, Marshawn Lattimore.
He's out.
Oh, he's out?
He did not get cleared.
Get out of here. He's out.
He is not playing.
Well, that's major.
Exactly.
Because he was going to be the guy who played A.J.
Well, they made the trade for him, and now he's missing the first 2 games so far.
Well, that's a blow. I thought he was going to play tonight.
Yeah, that's a big blow because now what you're going to get is Benjamin St. Juste versus A.J.
Yeah.
You got a rookie corner on the other side in Mike Sainristil out of Michigan, taken in the second round. I don't think, as good as this Commanders defense looks on paper when you look at some of the stats, they don't look very good against the run or in the red zone. I think the Eagles are going to have their way.
All right, the Eagles' offensive line is tied for 24th in the league in giving up sacks. They gave up 5 last week. Mailata's going to be back. The Commanders had 3 last week. The Commanders are 9th in the NFL in sacks. How's that play with you there?
Well, you get Jordan Mailata back, as you said. He's going to be going up against Dante Fowler. Dante Fowler's got 8.5 sacks this year, which is crazy because he's kind of bounced around a little bit. But the Eagles usually do give up a lot of sacks, and it's not necessarily because of their offensive line. It's because of the way Jalen Hurts plays the position. And the 5 sacks last week were he was holding the ball entirely too long. So For me, I'm not as concerned about the sacks. It's the turnovers. Because Jalen, up until last week, was doing a great job protecting the football after the bye. And then you saw him the 2 turnovers last week. The one thing that Jaden Daniels has done extremely well, he's only got 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. He's got no fumbles. So you can't afford to lose the turnover battle. So when we talk about the sacks, as long as they don't result in strip sacks, I'm okay with protecting the football, live for another down.
All right, and here's the ultimate stat. The Commanders' offense tied for 3rd in the league, 29 points per game. 3rd on third down, 5th third down defense in the league, offense, versus the Eagles, 5th, 17.9 points per game allowed, 13th against in third down. So something's got to give here tonight. Let's go to the phones, and we'll talk for Sean in Illinois. Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sean.
How we doing, guys?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm so fired up about tonight. I just can't wait. I mean, I've been this fired up since week 1. I just want to call for my weekly love to Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, who I've been backing all year. And, Jalen may have had 2 turnovers last week, but, I mean, the pick was fantastic. You're going to have a fumble here and there. It's a style of play. It's going to happen. The team rallies around him. I can hear the speakers tonight playing Sirianni love over him before the game starts because all the fans are finally going to get behind Nick Sirianni and show him the love he deserves.
My man, Sean, checking in. He has been consistent with his Nick Sirianni love. There it is, Sean.
The love he deserves. Yes, sir.
He does deserve it.
All righty. All right, Sean.
We're going to get big W tonight. Big W. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles.
There he is. He's representing from Illinois.
I love the energy.
The great Sean. All right, the text board's still singing today. A lot of text today early in the show at 610-632-0975. Very easy. Just hit us up on a text, and we'll put them out there. Ray?
All right, we'll keep it with the McManus story here. Matt in Jersey checking in. Summary of that article. Hey, Coach, we can't let Jalen throw the ball more than 20 times. We need to run it more.
Well, I'll see. That's as cynical as I am about the story. What is Tim's point of the story? You think that Tim's point is more like this is a great open door policy, or gee, these guys had to really tell him what to do? I don't know. What's the theme of it? What's the bigger message you get out of it?
I look at it that way. I look at it as it's the open door policy. It's a coach that's receptive to what his players are telling him. I think you're taking it too far the other way, which is that they needed them to come in to tell them to run the ball. They were already running the football.
Here's Dickerson's comment. I want to effing win. Simple as that. When asked why it was important to speak up.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Here's what's...
You are programmed to look at everything that way, and I'm programmed to look at it like a little more cynically. But it's an interesting dynamic we have here. And Ray is like Switzerland.
Yeah, he is a little bit.
I mean, he's more inclined to go against you, but sometimes he can't help it.
This time, I think I'm lining more with him because I think one of my biggest criticisms last year for Sirianni was the fact that I felt like they just didn't change anything, and there was no reception of change to something I thought got stale. So the idea that they actually had a little bit of reception to, hey, man, maybe this isn't the best way to go about things.
Yeah, but why didn't he think of that?
It was early in the bye week.
The question is not why didn't he think of that? The coach is supposed to be the innovative one, looking at his whole thing and going, "Hey, I think we'd be better if we did it this way." But he didn't do that. They had to remind him to do it.
Listen, I got you on that one.
I'm just saying.
I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but I'm happy he did something that pushed him towards winning.
All of a sudden, Ray is now leaning towards Bill, and I'm not happy about it.
But hold on.
Ray used to be my ally.
Hold on.
What?
All right? Because we can't rewrite history. That conversation where the offensive lineman came into Nick Sirianni happened at the bye week. In the 4 games prior to the bye week, the Philadelphia Eagles, 144 yards rushing, 186 yards rushing, 172 yards rushing, 113 yards rushing, but that was in the Tampa Bay Bucs game. So outside of the Bucs game, they were averaging over 150 rushing yards a game.
Barkley was going nuts.
But to your point,
with big 50-yard runs.
But to your point that the players needed to tell Sirianni or he wasn't going to realize it, they were already running the ball.
Why didn't they go in the first place? Why would they take the time to go into his office in the first place if everything was hunky-dory?
Because they felt the need.
That's a David Bowie album.
Hunky-dory? Yeah, what is that? That's not what it's based on, though.
No,
that saying is based off of something else.
I don't know what it's based on, but it was a Bowie album.
Is it hunky or hunky?
H-U-N-K. H-U-N-K. Hunky-dory.
Hunky-dory. Anyway, look, you're confusing me now.
I'm sorry.
You're in my head. But one of the things that you mentioned earlier, you said, what's this organization normally want? They want a pass-heavy approach. And this all comes down to back in 2019, Doug Peterson won a game at Lambeau Field against the Packers by running the ball. And the reports were that after the game, he was questioned by Jeffrey Lurie. Why'd you run the ball so much, right? Jeffrey Lurie, above all else, is a businessman. He wants to put the best product on the field. Back in 2019, the leading rusher in that Green Bay Packers game was Jordan Howard. You now have a bona fide superstar on your team in Saquon Barkley, a guy that everyone around the NFL was talking about after he did a reverse hurdle backwards, a guy who's been NFC Offensive Player of the Week 3 times already. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie's going to care when you're giving the ball to a guy like Barkley. Now, when you're giving it to Jordan Howard, it's not as sexy, it's not as exciting. They're going to have no problem being a run-heavy team now. But I don't think they needed the players to tell them, but I do love that the coach was willing to listen. And
I am too. I'm just coming along to your side. I can make
I think you're lying
I
right
can
now.
make my life so much easier just by saying, you know what? I agree. Nick Sirianni is a prince, and I'm trying to think.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think maybe I should go that way.
let me ask you this, because I asked you this before.
So much good.
I asked you this before the season.
Well, yeah.
We were talking about, well, what would Sirianni have to do this year to deserve another season back? And I want to ask it a little bit different of a way. For Mike Missanelli, he's 7-2 now. What does he have to do this season for you to get in and say, you know what? He is a good coach.
He has to get to the NFC title game.
All right, so if they get to the NFC title game, can I get it on record now that you will sing Sirianni Love with me after they win the divisional playoff game?
Of course.
All right, Ray, you mark that down. Listeners,
Yeah.
we're going to hold them accountable.
Now, I don't think that they're going to beat the Lions in the NFC title game. You think they will. You don't have respect for the Lions.
No, but I think they could. I think they could.
Okay.
I don't think that the Lions are this dominant team.
They'd have to win in Detroit.
Well, maybe. Maybe. I mean, there's a chance if the Eagles win tonight, there is a path to a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Not a guarantee, but there's a path to it. And look, you're coming off a game where Jared Goff just threw 5 interceptions. So to act like they are this dominant team that can't be beaten, I think, is just an overstatement.
Setting up for a heck of a January for the show.
It is.
Tweed.
It really is. Let's go back to the text board.
All right, we got Bob in Dub C. Check it in. Where's the more hate? Listening to the Sirianni conversation about the fact he didn't have the answers. Where's the conversation about Kellen Moore and all of this?
What do you mean?
He's saying, the texter's saying, if you're saying that Sirianni had to be told by the players, well, what about the offensive coordinator?
Because Kellen Moore is doing what Nick Sirianni wants done. What do you think? He's an independent force? It's all under the umbrella of Sirianni's offense.
And once again, they were running the football before that meeting. They were.
Then why did they go into the office? You're not answering that question. They apparently these guys felt they weren't doing it enough because Jalen Hurts is playing erratic when they weren't running the ball almost 40 times.
Against Green Bay, Barkley had 24 carries. Against the Falcons, Barkley had 22 carries.
You're not answering the question.
Against the Saints, he had 147 yards rushing.
Why would they feel it was necessary to go into his office to remind him that we need to run the ball 40 times, not 30?
Well, I guess we're looking at it different ways because I don't look at it as they needed to go in there to tell him we need to run the football. It's more of, hey, coach, don't be afraid to put it on our shoulders. That's how I look at it. We're a good offensive line. Don't be afraid. Put it on us.
So didn't he know they had a good offensive line?
And that's why they were running the ball before it. They were.
Bill, you have the same answer for everything.
Because they were. If they were running the ball.
Wait, were they running the ball before the bye?
If they were running the ball 10 times a game before the bye, and then the offensive lineman went in there, and now they're running at 40, you could be like, okay, why did it take the offensive lineman? They were running the ball.
It's like a hamster wheel argument. We just keep going around and around. Apparently, the offensive lineman, he's got a good offensive line. You don't have to be a football genius to see that that's one of the Eagles' strengths, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the head coach should recognize that's my strength, and I shouldn't need those guys to come in to remind me. That's all. That's the only point I'm making, only to counter your point that this guy invented frickin' football.
I'm not saying he invented it.
Really. I'm trying to come back with something for you because this is like it gets crazy after a while. Your syrup,
Ray.
But
Don't you dare laugh at that joke about the syrup.
He said that they tap you and syrup comes out. Come on, man.
And you were laughing through your update. I didn't appreciate it.
Of all the things you can say about something.
You're a maple tree. Tap, here comes the syrup. All right, we go to the break. Now you got me thinking about Hunky Dory, for crying out loud. Yeah, you know what? It was on that album. Changes.
Oh, I know that jam.
Of course you do. That was on that album. And the other one was, Is There Life on Mars? That's Bowie. That's classic Bowie. Now, here's the other tidbit. Since you've been watching that Melendez Brothers thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
I finished that.
That album was, the record company was RCA.
That the dad worked
The
for?
Melendez father apparently abused him to the point where they blew him away with shotguns.
Menendez. There's no L.
I didn't say Melendez. I said Menendez.
Right. He said Melendez.
Did I? I'm sorry. Well, I didn't mean
I'm trying to
Melendez.
find Bowie songs back here. You leave me out of this.
Yeah, so he was the RCA executive during that time with Bowie.
That's right. He signed Menudo.
That was after.
Oh.
Menudo was later.
And the son loved Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, there you go. All right. 610-632-0975 is how you climb it. Changes.
I want some energy from the callers, though, because this is a big NFC East matchup. We haven't had one of these in a while. I want some energy. I want some predictions where people think this game's going.
Oh, you rock and rollers. This is now going to be in my head. The whole freaking day.
People are saying
Mike,
you're warming up for January when you got to sing Sirianni
Mike
Love.
Missanelli Show. Back after this. 7 o'clock hour brought to us by Grungo Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace. Prepare for trial at grungolaw.com. All right, Eagles 7-2, Commanders 7-3 for division and, second place supremacy in the conference, I think. Amazon Prime game tonight. Our pal Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, who just had a devastating thing with had to put the dog to sleep. And
Yeah,
had an emotional outburst on the air about it.
Oh, he did? I missed that.
Yeah, College Game Day. He had to be consoled by Lee Corso.
Yeah, he was very close with that, though.
And I'm a big fan of the sideline reporter, Kaylee Hartung.
Oh, yeah, she does a good job, Kaylee Hartung.
Yes. So right now you got either 3 or 3.5. Money line Eagles minus 175. That's pretty assertive. I might have to go with the money line. I don't like to mess around with these points are too precarious. I think I might take the Eagles on the money line tonight.
That's not a bad
I think
bet.
that's a solid bet.
Would you say they're minus 175?
Minus 175.
You may have to do a little parlay with that. Get your odds
I
up.
don't do parlays.
Hey, get your odds up.
Nah, parlays are a sucker bet.
So you just said something I want to ask you, because you said this is for NFC East supremacy, second place
right now
in the conference.
Right.
What do you think this means for the quarterback conversation?
The Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. Yesterday we had a guy on who covers the Commanders who made the statement that maybe that's not a conversation 2 years down the road, indicating that he thinks that Jaden Daniels is the superior quarterback.
Look, he's done a great job. A great job. Better than probably any rookie we've seen. I mean, C.J. Stroud was great last year, too. But I just have a hard time when we immediately anoint a rookie quarterback because defensive coordinators adjust.
I agree.
And you're talking about a guy in Jalen Hurts who has 41 career wins going up against Jaden Daniels who has 7. And there are people who say it's a no-brainer for them that they would take Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts. And I can't get there yet. I think it's premature.
I totally agree with you. All these young quarterbacks that come in, they have immediate success. And you go, yeah, they're a real deal. And then all of a sudden, the wall is coming. You know, there's always going to be the wall that hits you. So, I mean, this kid's smart. And they really, the coordinators do a good job at emphasizing his strengths. And he's got a really good, that guy might be the most underrated wide receiver.
Scary Terry?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Nobody talks about him. He produces like every week.
I mean, it didn't help him that he didn't have a great quarterback over the last few years. But, yeah, he does. He's
got a
numbers.
reliable wide receiver that helps him out a lot.
But listen to how similar Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts' seasons have been so far. Both teams have 7 wins. Jaden Daniels' completion percentage, 69%. Jalen Hurts, 70%. Passing yards per game, 215 for Jaden, 220 for Jalen. Quarterback rating, 102, 103. Average rushing yards per game, 46 for Jaden, 42 for Jalen. You look at it, the main difference has been 2 turnovers for Jaden Daniels, 9 for Jalen Hurts, 13 total touchdowns for Jaden Daniels, 22 for Jalen Hurts. Outside of that, they're almost identical. Mm-hmm. Almost an identical stat line across the board. So it should be interesting. This is probably going to be a battle you'll see for years to come, but you just can't. The people out there who want to take Jaden over Jalen, come on. He's a rookie. He's played 10 games.
Well, you're making an investment. So what's the better investment right now?
Well, the fact that you have
Who
Jaden.
do you think has the best potential to have the stock go through the roof?
See, now that's a different question.
Well, I think that's what the guy answered it yesterday when he said, in 2 years, you're buying low here.
Yeah,
and he's got the bigger potential.
Who I want right now for this season, it's Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Who would I want to build around for the next 3 or 4 years?
Uh-huh.
Who? See, the good.
That's the ultimate question.
And the difference is you got to factor in the money because you have Jaden Daniels under a rookie contract.
Don't even factor in the money. Don't even factor in the money. Just look at the talent level, and you tell me who you think has the better upside.
Better upside would probably be Jaden Daniels.
Really? Ray?
I've seen Hurts adjust to the league, adjust to him. I haven't seen that with Daniels. And with that, Daniels gives me the same concern I have running the football that Hurts does, But except I think Daniels takes way more hits. Daniels to me does not have like.
So you're taking Hurts.
I'm taking Hurts.
And he's not a big dude. Yeah, but the question that was posed was who has more potential. I think the ceiling's probably higher for Jaden Daniels. But you're right, that is a crapshoot because you don't know how the league adjusts to him.
I've seen a lot of high ceilings.
Yeah.
Reaching to that ceiling is a difficult thing.
True.
I'd like someone that's closer to that ceiling that I've seen already the league adjust to before.
Ray with wisdom.
Ray is with
Every once in a while.
Young MC with some wisdom.
Now, we're having this conversation. I hope that Jalen Hurts doesn't think he needs to outperform Jaden Daniels tonight because I don't think that's the recipe to success
I
tonight.
don't think that's even in his rep. Are you kidding me?
He's a robot.
Keeping the main thing the main thing?
Keep the main thing the main thing.
You think that
When you play
he's
to the
going to try
standard, you win.
he try to outperform a guy?
I don't think he will.
No,
I don't think he will. But they should lean on their running game early, establish the run, force Washington to load the box, and then take advantage in the passing
All
game.
right, let's go to Ish in Levittown. What's up, Ish?
Hey guys. I just want to say, like, y'all chemistry on the show is amazing. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks, Ish.
Yeah, appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I like all you guys.
Appreciate
but
you, Ish.
Mike, I have to push back on a couple of things you said.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I'm a big fan of yours, but you have not liked any of the coaches, last two coaches. You never liked it, Doug Peterson. You never liked it. You don't like Nick Sirianni, and you never liked it, Korkmaz. I just don't understand. What?
Well, was I wrong on Korkmaz?
Yeah, you was right on
When
Korkmaz.
everybody was telling me how great Korkmaz was I wrong?
No, you was right about
Okay,
that.
all right.
But I do
Just
want to talk
checking.
about Doug Peterson and Nick.
Yeah.
Nick has done a great job, and Doug did a good job. And just by your voice, I think if he wins tonight, which I think they will win in the blowout, I think we have to give him some credit. At this point, there's nothing else to argue. I agree with Bill. Like, when we can't give Kelly the praise and then not give Nick Sirianni the praise, it can't be one or two things. So I think that this week, like tonight, will be the game that Nick proves everybody wrong. I think we come out strong and they're fighting for him.
Well, let me just
Well,
explain. Let me just explain why certain things I see. Doug Peterson, I think, turned out to be a flash. I don't know that he was a good coach. I think he's proven that now. I was leery of his intellect. I'm leery of Sirianni's maturity. Now,
But you didn't like him?
if Nick Sirianni proves me wrong, I will say I'm wrong. I am leery of his maturity. That's all.
But remember, Doug won the Super Bowl, and you still were not happy.
Yeah, because I think it was a flash. I think it was a flash. I don't think it was his brilliance. I never thought he was that intelligent of a coach.
I get it. I guess. Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
and like after the Super Bowl, I don't know how well coached they were.
Yeah, they weren't a good team after that. No, they weren't a good team.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a
I get you
little
right,
more
yeah.
cynical based on my years of study of people in this sport. Now, maybe that's wrong, but there are things that I see that I go, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, you were right about Doug after that. Yeah.
I cannot believe you brought the name Korkmaz up.
Yeah, mixed it in.
God, I was the only one who saw it, for crying out loud. All you saps out there thought he could actually play.
Yeah, I thought he could play.
I know. Everybody thought he could play. I go, what the hell are you watching? And it's Paul Reed thing too. B-ball Paul. I go, what do you guys have eyes? Just follow a guy for an entire game, just with your eyes, and you'll see what kind of a player he is.
The Korkmaz thing really killed that entire
Yeah, how did we
momentum of the call.
Yeah, how did we get Korkmaz?
You want to start questioning coaches? All
with
right.
Dougie Pig.
No, he had a legitimate point. Why did I question Doug Peterson? I never thought he was that. I thought his intellect lacked, and when your intellect lacks, you can't adjust to stuff. And once they won the Super Bowl, which I think was like a miracle year, where everything came together so beautifully, I go, well, maybe that was outside his view that they won that Super Bowl.
I understand that, but I mean, you're tying a guy who won a Super Bowl to a guy that was sitting at the end of the bench.
Yeah, a little bit different.
No. But he did get a lot of playing time, Korkmaz. And
Yeah,
every time he got playing time, I'm going, why?
I think Ish's point was asking why Mike's being a hater. And that's what he was.
I have justifiable reasons for skepticism, not hate.
Yeah.
Skepticism.
Well, I'm with you on Doug Peterson because outside of that Super Bowl season, you look at his coaching career. I mean, they were 7-9 his first year. Then they have the great Super Bowl run, which was magical. And then it's 9-7, 9-7, 4-11. And then he goes to Jacksonville, 9-8, 9-8 with a collapse last year. Now they're 2-8. Nick Sirianni, 9-8 his first year, and then it's been 14-3, 11-6. Now they're 7-2.
Now,
I see 12 wins in their future.
Well,
I'm just curious, for a guy that paints last season's collapse on Howie Roseman's ability to put personnel on defense, you're telling me that we're just going to ignore the personnel Doug Peterson had at the end of his time in Philadelphia and just paint the picture of no.
Ray, you don't let the
Sirianni
facts get in the way of a good story, Ray.
No. I'm not letting the fiction get in the way of a good narrative for you.
Well, look, I look at last year. I've said this before. I know that Sirianni should take some of the blame, but there were so many factors. It wasn't just the lack of personnel on the defense. That was a big part of it. But it was also a lack of experienced coordinators. It was also the fact that you're coming off the Super Bowl hangover. There were so many reasons for what happened last year happening. And my point all summer, and the reason why I've been accused of being Sirianni's cousin, is I kept saying you can't hold that against a guy who was trying to do something that's never been done in NFL history, which was go to a Super Bowl, lose both of your coordinators, and get back to next year. There's a reason why it's so difficult to do, even if your coaching staff stays in place.
Yeah, that's the other thing Ish didn't put in the equation on what I think about Sirianni. I saw a team collapse, and he couldn't do anything about it. They were 10-1 at one point. Really, I'm just not picking hate.
Yeah, but
like waking up and say, "Oh, today I'll hate." There was influences for me.
But it was. Will you at least agree that there was more to the collapse than just the head coach?
No.
You think it was all on the head coach? See, like that's where you're not being
The head coach
objective.
Has the organization in his hands, and when you can't figure out a way to worm out of a bad situation, I doubt your ability. Now, I also said, to be fair, Bill, they brought him back. My eyes will be wide open. He didn't go off to a very good start in my eyes. Well, now listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad coach if they keep rolling. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Ricky Vitalico.
Who's this?
Fontaine's D.C.
You see, I know songs. I don't know artists.
I'm looking at the box score last night. Sixer game. Let's see. Reggie Jackson off the. It's weird the way he just randomly plays guys. Like Reggie Jackson can't get any time. Last night he played 27 minutes.
Well, he took the Downton role.
And Downton only played 4. KJ Martin got 15 last night. Bona got 17 minutes last night. Your starters last night, Yabusele, Caleb, Martin. Lowry is really struggling. 17 minutes, 0 for 6. Oubre with 34 minutes last night had 20, but a minus 15. And Jared McCain with the big night at 34 was also a minus 11 last night. But, Ray, what was the atmosphere like for that game last night? How did the fans perceive it?
There was room to spread out in the row where I was.
Really?
Yeah.
I was seeing tickets that actually went for $8 last night.
There was
on SeatGeek.
An energy of, you know what? We made it out here. We might as well make it a fun night. So I think there were a lot of people that were just getting excited because they were seeing McCain do things. I think the expectation was entirely removed, and some people were able to let themselves enjoy themselves. But I will tell you, my section, a little sparse.
Really?
Again, I'm upstairs, so it's not, you know. If you could get $8 tickets down by the floor, I bet some people upgraded.
Were you excited to see Bang Bang George Niang make a couple threes last night?
I thought of you as soon as he checked in.
There it is. The minivan with 16 minutes last night for the Cavs.
I forget who he drove by, but I was like, ooh, that's not a good look. That's one in film that they're going to be able to get you for.
By the way, speaking of the NBA, you see the way the Knicks lost last night?
I missed it.
Okay, so the Knicks have a 2-point lead. And this is against the Bulls now at home. This is back-to-back for the Knicks after they beat the Sixers. 2-point lead. Chicago's got the last possession. Kobe White goes up for a 3-point shot. Josh Hart comes flying from behind to try to block it. Hits him on the head. 3-point shot is missed, but he goes to the line for 3. Bang, bang, bang. Knicks now have an inbounds play from half court. They get a clean look from Jalen Brunson, who shoots about a 16-foot jumper that is halfway down in the basket and pops out.
Jeez.
The Nets with a victory last night. I mean, the Bulls with a victory over the Knicks. The Knicks now have a losing record.
Well, that's the one silver lining to this bad start by the Sixers. It's kind of been a bad start by everybody outside of Cleveland and Boston.
Yeah, well, let me just read this text from a man who covers the Sixers. I saw. I want to see how many people buy into this because it's really a optimistic look at the Sixers. Here it is. Seeing a lot of negativity around the team right now. I get it. Record is what it is, and the injury concerns are ever present. But they're only 3 games back from the 4th seed, and McCain popping is way more important, both for the future but also for the present, than any short-term noise. Buying into that? Is that accurate?
Just like I've bought into the load management for Joel Embiid, what else do we have to hope, man? I mean, we kind of just have to hope. Yeah, okay.
I'm just asking if you bought into that statement.
I'm starting to come to your side on this. That it's going to
I have a side.
Well, it's going to become increasingly more difficult with the way the tone was set to start the season and with how bad things have looked to start the season. And now, behind the 8 ball, there it is, Ray, behind the 8 ball being 2-9, knowing they're probably not going to play back-to-backs, it's becoming harder and harder for me to buy in and think, oh, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm still grasping for hope. But
revelation.
It's just becoming hard, man.
That statement
I will hold to until we get to December 9th. Because there is a stretch at the end of November and the beginning of December with very winnable games that you could try and pull yourself out of this hole.
Okay.
If they don't have, at least 2/3 of this 3 playing and looking cohesive and looking like the team that we were starting to think they would be at that point, and they don't win some of those games, we're talking there's Brooklyn on that stretch. There's Detroit, Charlotte, pair of Orlando games, Chicago, another Charlotte game. If they're not really jiving by that point, then I'm going to start to be concerned about, this is a team that's going to be fighting to come out of the play-in.
So the statement of optimism, they're only 3 innings back from the 4th seed, and McCain popping is way more important, both for the future and also for the present, than any short-term noise. You're kind of in agreement with.
I can't go full positive right now because I watched that starting lineup last night. Like, I showed up, I'm like, Lowry.
Let me ask you a question. Did they even bother to do the flamethrower?
Oh, they got it.
They did. They actually wasted the gas on the flamethrower for that starting lineup last night.
They did.
Preserve the gas.
Did you see Ray's tweet last night?
No, I missed it.
Now, I think Ray was being sarcastic, but others are not when Ray said it's time to build around Jared McCain. I know you were kidding.
I was kidding.
I know you were kidding.
But
I think there are people out there who are seriously saying that. Who are seriously saying, it's time to build around Jared McCain, blow everything up.
Yeah, that's foolish.
So that tweet also, people who don't understand what I do, I guess, caught on to it and thought it was a political tweet and were saying that I was putting values out there of John McCain. There was some response I got from that as well. So
that would have been good.
I got to be honest.
Jared McCain, to be very clear.
It's an unworthy fire launch for that starting lineup.
Oh, they got to do something for the fans.
I would have edited that. Yeah, we can't. Let's save the fires.
Who rang the bell?
It was a veteran last night. It was Toyota Veterans Appreciation Night. So
gotcha.
High-ranking military.
Got it. Have you ever rang the bell, Mike?
No, I have not, and I get the red ass about it, to be honest with you.
Wait,
I couldn't care less. I have never been asked to ring the bell.
Has anyone at this station ever rang the
Jamie
bell?
Lynch rang the bell.
Yeah.
And I haven't rung the freaking bell.
John also has.
I think Tyrone rung the bell.
All right, we need to make this happen.
Yeah, John's rung the bell. Mikey Miss doesn't get the bell.
All right, it's
Mikey Miss is too critical.
Now,
for them to say, Mike, you ring the bell.
Well, the good news is Ray said that apparently our show was going around the Jumbotron last night. Right, Ray?
The board that goes around the upper bowl. So I saw, whoa, Mike Missanelli, 10 to 2. I'll check that out.
Beautiful.
And then they said news at noon every day at 12.
That's right. That's good. Let's take a break. We got Emmett and Chris that are holding on. Thank you guys for holding on. They're both holding on from different states. Emmett from South Dakota and Chris from Austin, Texas. We'll get to those. We got a lot of texts to get to. And I want you to analyze this game tonight. I like this. I like the Eagles in this game. I think most people do. Because if they didn't, I think they would be saying it. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Eagles tonight against the Commanders for supremacy. Division supremacy. Let's go to the phones because Emmett called from South Dakota. What's up, Emmett?
Hey, welcome back, counselor.
Thanks, buddy. How you doing out there?
Good. Well, I'm not out there. I'm driving back out there. I'm a Langhorne boy. I think the last time we talked, my prestigious 7th and 8th grade squad was coming slightly east to face your juggernaut St. Anne CYO squad.
Oh, my God.
In an amazing game, 24-21, a football score. We eclipsed you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how bad.
I wasn't. I didn't go to St. Anne's. I wasn't a Catholic school kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I'm aware. I'm aware of that whole CYO thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the last time we talked. But anyways, huge game tonight for the Birds, and I got to give a quick shout out. My daughter's 21st birthday party's at the tailgate there. Her and Mom are doing that without me, so good luck to them. And I went through Pittsburgh here, and it's steady rain. I'm on like 3/4 wiper, and
oh wait, is it coming this way?
So I am pretty sure it is.
Uh-oh, let me check the weather report for tonight. No rain. I don't see. No rain in the forecast. Just cloud, but it'll be chilly. Yeah, it'll be chilly in the mid 40s.
Okay, well I guess the wind ain't blowing that way, but yeah, it's coming down here. And you guys got me another 15 hours, so I'm listening to you guys all the time. So
beautiful. We like it.
But yeah.
All right. So do you like them, Emmett, tonight? Do you like them?
I do, man. It's huge. It's their season, man. I mean, technically, right? If they beat them and it ends there, the tiebreaker would be head to head. So. It's a huge game.
It's a tremendously huge game. Listen, man, what route are you on right now?
I am on the Ohio Turnpike. Whatever that is, I think it's like
the Ohio Turnpike. That's an extension of the PA Turnpike.
And guess what else? We still have time for our boy to get back in it and see what he does. You know, Frank wins, except he always loses, but they're up there, so maybe he's got a shot again.
All right, buddy. You got it, Emmett. Emmett, South Dakota, man. Imagine making that drive from here to South Dakota.
That's a hike, man. Oh, and I'm Google mapping this. What do you say, 15 hours?
Get to the state limit, or the state line. You have now reached South Dakota. Well, what's up? What must that feel like?
I'm just imagining how he feels right now getting to the Pennsylvania state line, knowing how many more you have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. From here to South Dakota, if we left right now, would take us 22 hours straight through.
Wow.
I
have
15?
No familiarity with the Dakotas at all. As many states as I've been, I lack that Wyoming, Idaho, Dakota thing.
Yeah,
Wyoming's pretty cool.
I kind of want to go there.
You've been to Wyoming,
Yeah,
Ray?
Jackson Hole. Pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I want to go to Wyoming.
I'm looking at the map. So the closest I've been to the Dakotas would have been Minneapolis. You've been to Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably
they played a Super Bowl there, didn't they?
Yeah, that's why I was there.
Yeah, I was there. I've been there a couple times. Yeah. That's why you got into these high-level discussions with these Uber driver kids who graduated from University of Minnesota. And I said, and meanwhile, the snow is flying every direction, every wind direction. You step out of a car, it's hit me from the east, west, north, and south. Right? And I go to the kid, dude, I got to ask you this question. All right, you grew up here. You went to the university. What do you ever think you're getting the F out?
Yeah, right?
Really? And I go, why would you stay here? And he goes, yeah, that's a good question. I don't think we ever ponder that question. It's weird. I think people live in Buffalo. I go, what, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't live in Buffalo.
All right.
Although they do got Buffalo.
There's something about your home, I guess. You don't see the things that everybody else sees. But come on, man. It's 3 months of pleasure when you live in those areas. That's it. 3 out of 12. That's all you get.
Yeah, we're lucky, I think, here. Because you have anything you want.
Well, I don't even think I'm lucky being here, much less in Minnesota. Like, I want warmer climes.
See, I think we have it perfect here because you get not only the season changes, you're 20 minutes to the international airport to go anywhere you want. You're less than an hour to the ocean. You have a major city here that has anything you need. We have great hospitals. We really want to get down to it. It's a great area to live. It really is.
Yeah, I liked it here, and I went to San Diego. And I was like, you know what? That's
San Diego. San Diego would be too much for me. But like, I'm more of a Atlantic Coast guy.
You want to be down in like Hilton Head,
Charleston?
Yeah,
Charleston.
The Carolinas appeal to me. You know, temperate climate.
Golf.
Where you're still going to get a little bit of
golf pretty much all year.
Yeah,
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach too commercial. Chris in Austin, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Chris.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you all for taking my call.
What's up, Chris?
As usual, great perspectives. My question was last week against the Cowboys. I'm still enjoying all the Cowboy fans here in Austin crying in their soup over last week's rout. So it's a lot of fun when we beat the Cowboys and living in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, that wasn't even a contest, though. They're so pathetic that I don't even acknowledge them.
Yeah, no.
Really.
But my question is, last week Sirianni was pretty mellow on the sideline after the fiasco of the Jacksonville game. You think there's any chance that Howard Craig Roseman walked down the hall and asked him what the F he was doing and might have mellowed him out some?
Is his middle name Craig?
No.
He said.
Yeah, I looked it up on.
Really? So I didn't know it. Howard Craig Roseman is his full name?
That's what it says. I looked it up about a few years ago, and I remember it stuck in my brain.
That's pretty good, Chris. That's pretty good. I don't think that's ever been revealed.
His Wikipedia just says Howard Roseman, so I don't know where you got it.
Chris did some research. He found the Craig part.
Yeah. If you just look up Howie Roseman's full name, it'll pop up.
I gotcha. All right.
So anyway, but as far as I just wondered if Howie had any input on maybe saying, mellow out with this.
I think he definitely did. In fact, we've been told that really there have been discussions behind the scenes that say, hey, Holmes, chill out. He has been totally chill. If you notice, there's been a drastic difference with Sirianni. Yeah. He's almost downright boring now.
Well, especially last week, which was great because he didn't do anything where he thought he was smartest guy in the room, which is what we need out of it.
The last time he brought up his brothers or Mount Union or playing sandlot ball, he's totally gone away from that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it when he does that. And as far as the score prediction, I'm saying 31-21 Birds. Take the 3.5 points. They're going to play a great game tonight.
All right, man. You got it, Chris. Be safe down there in Austin.
Love it.
Howard Craig. Let me ask you.
I'm still not finding that anywhere.
Would you choose either of those names for your child?
Howard or Craig?
Yeah.
I don't want to insult any Howards or Craigs out there, but no. I would not.
Craig is a weird name. Like Greg's not weird, but Craig is somehow a little weirder. I don't want to insult people either that have this name, but you don't see many Craigs, do you?
One of my best friends from college is named Craig. So I don't know. It's one thing. But I mean, my name's weird. Bill. Bill is a weird name.
What's weird about Bill?
Just say it.
It's like a common name.
Bill.
William Bill.
Bill. Do you know how many people?
Craig is rare.
Mike, do you know how many people will say to me, if your name's William, why do you use Bill? They don't understand that Bill is a nickname for William.
I agree. That
so many people
like why is Peggy a nickname for Margaret?
Why is Dick a nickname for Richard?
These are perplexing questions
right?
that we don't have the answer to.
Like Mike, short for Michael, makes sense. Ray, short for Raymond. Are you Raymond?
I am.
Makes sense. Yeah, Peggy doesn't make sense. Wait, what's Mildred? You said Peggy short for
Margaret.
What's Betty short for?
Margaret.
Too many Margarets. They just had to start giving up random nicknames.
It doesn't make sense.
No. Betty is Elizabeth.
Betty's Elizabeth, yes.
Peggy is Margaret. I don't know. I have no. All right, so I just did some research on the word Craig. It's Scottish origin, and it means rock. The name comes from the Scottish Gaelic word Craig, which means rock. Well, there you go.
There it is. Cool. It's a great name.
Yeah, so it has some Scottish roots.
You see, now the person on hold, Will, probably a William, goes by Will.
I like Will.
I do too.
I like Will better than Bill.
So I started playing men's league ice hockey a few years ago, and for whatever reason, they all just started calling me Will. So I never corrected them. Called me Will. I kind of liked it. Then one of my best friends joins the team, and everyone's calling me Will. He's like, "What the hell is going on? Why is everyone calling you Will?" I'm like, "I don't know. Kind of liked it. I think I should switch. I think Will Colarulo is a lot cooler.
It should be a transition for you.
I really don't like the fact that, and this is nothing against your name or anything, but when I go to type the email out to send you the sheet, that I type Bill B out of instinct, and
and
email
it's under
doesn't
William.
come up, and then I have to hit backspace.
I know.
It's
It's
really
confusing.
unfortunate few seconds of my day.
It's confusing. It's very confusing, Ray. I'm sorry that I did that to you.
It's okay.
Like
Talk to
I
Vito.
have a weird middle name, which I have no idea where it comes from. My middle name is Gary.
Gary.
Now, for the life of me, I can't figure out why two Italian parents would pick that out of the air.
He probably just liked it.
Really? All right, let's go to Will in South Jersey. Will, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Will.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Will?
Hey, by the way, I did change my name. For my whole life, I've been Bill.
Yeah,
and
Will's cooler.
Well, I agree, but the reason I changed it was because I had a bunch of employees, and there were all these Bills in my company. And I finally said, I got to I got to make it easier for people. So I just went with Will, And
I think you made the right move. Yeah, I think you made the right move.
I have an uncle named Bill, same last name, and I have a cousin named Bill, same last name. So, anyway, kind of made a distinction there.
Yeah, although
guys,
Bill works better like in a movie context. Like it wouldn't be Kill Will. That doesn't sound as good as Kill Bill.
And by the way, my dad's name was Richard, and they called him Dick. You know what I mean?
I don't know where the dick comes from.
I don't know where that came from. I don't like it, but whatever. They called him Big Dick.
Yeah,
but
they did. Huh? They used to call me that.
Is that your nickname too?
Call me that in college.
But anyway, I want to talk about the Eagles.
They call Ray the tripod, from what I understand.
Come on, man. Come on. He goes back into frat boy chat every now and then. Go ahead, Will.
So I want to talk about the Eagles. What's the difference between the 2-2 Eagles and the 7-2 Eagles? My belief is it's one thing and two things. One is we're running the ball like crazy, beyond anything I could imagine, quite honestly. And number two, we're pressing on our defense. And those two things are causing the dramatic change. And we didn't change players. They're the same players, but you're giving the players an opportunity to show themselves. I mean, that defense before, this pansy-wansy, I call it defense, was ridiculous. I mean, backing off 10 yards, and they say, why can't the Eagles tackle? They can't tackle because you're 10 yards off the guy and he makes a move on you.
Yeah.
When you're on the guy, he can't make a move on you.
Exactly.
And the running game is beyond anything I could ever believe as an Eagle, a fan. I mean, come on, guys. Double the amount of runs versus pass. I was only asking for the same. I'm only asking 50-50. And we're doing 25-75.
It makes so much sense, though, when you think about it. It really does. Because it keeps the quarterback kind of in tow.
Well, especially as he's adjusting to a new offensive coordinator. So that's why it does make sense, is you take the pressure off of him.
Well, when you think about his college career, that's the way they handled him.
When he was at Oklahoma or Alabama?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a lot of read options with him, but the running game set up some timely passes. There was always the not, like, how could he throw the ball in the NFL? Would he be able to throw the ball? Because his college experience wasn't exactly throw-oriented.
No.
So that works perfect.
It does work really well, because then, like we were saying for tonight, once teams try to sell out to stop the run, it opens up the passing game.
By the way, did you hear Charles Barkley, speaking of our last topic we were talking to Will about? He said he refused Grady Dick. Who does he play for?
Raptors.
Toronto?
Yeah,
he plays for the Raptors. He went off at 36 or something, and Charles refused to say his last name.
He wouldn't say.
He said, "I'm not calling another man that name." It's weird, and he cracked Shaq up like Shaq lost it.
That's the best moments of
He
inside
said,
the
I'm calling Grady. Charles says.
When Charles breaks Shaq, that's my favorite.
It is. It is a really good part of that show. All right, I got a song in my head now. See, I get these earworm songs. At first, when we started this, it was chit 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 chain. You know what it is now? When you're on the fence about a fence.
I thought with all the talk about Bill, it's gonna be Billy, don't you lose my number. Remember that jam, right?
Is that just what all the girls said to you?
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's Billy, don't you lose my number, or is it Ricky, don't you lose my number?
Well,
great work.
Oh no, you know what the song was?
About the Phil Collins song?
Yeah, I think it's Ricky, isn't it?
No, that's Steely Dan.
The one I like too is Billy, don't be a hero. Don't make a fool with your life. You know that jam?
No, I don't. Well, let's stay with the Phil Collins song.
Yeah, isn't it Billy, don't you lose my number?
I don't think it's Billy. I don't think it's Ricky.
No, you got it.
It is Billy.
Billy, don't you lose my number.
Billy, don't you lose my number?
Yeah.
All right, see, I knew. How do we get down these paths?
I don't know.
It's a game day, baby. NFC East.
It's a free-flowing show. That's it. It's fluid. So the brain goes in different areas. But that makes the show listenable because you never know what you're going to hear here. You never know what kind of conversation you're going to hear.
You never know what you're going to get, but what you always get is the news at noon with Ray Dunn.
And that's coming up.
And that is coming up.
Until then, we get to the text board because we're getting a lot of text today. So, Ray, what do we have?
We got some people that want to weigh in on their predictions for tonight's game. Michael from Parkside here. Hurts rushes for 2 touchdowns as Devontae has a huge game through the air. Our defense shuts down the rookie and causes more turnovers tonight than they have had all year. Birds win and cover with ease. 31-13.
31-13?
Wow. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I see
if they win 31-13 tonight, I might come in Friday and say that they're as good as the Lions. And then now it's just a toss-up for conference supremacy. If they dominate this team, that's going to tell me a lot.
So what if they win by 17?
Same thing.
Because Bill from Utah says the Eagles win by 17. Washington has played
the same thing.
Nobody.
When you beat a team that's supposedly a contender by 17, that shows supremacy. The line is 3. So you're winning by 17, you're not much better than that team. And at that point, I might say they're better than the Lions.
I'm curious, though, to see this defense tonight against a quarterback that can run. Because that's the one X factor here is if you let him escape the pocket, you know Jaden Daniels can run the ball, and they really haven't gone up against a quarterback like that. I mean, I know they went against Deshaun Watson, but he's washed. Daniel Jones, So I'm curious to see what they do. But that text are talking about the turnovers. That's not something the Commanders have done a lot of this year, is turning the ball over.
All right, 610-632-0975. We'll continue to talk about this big game tonight, but coming up, it's the news at noon on the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this. Noontime, Mike Missanelli Show, brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning, where you get 0% financing for 72 months. You also get a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Yes, it is noon, and that means we go to the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ray Dunn in the news at noon newsroom seat. Ray, what do we have for today?
All right. Well, I want to give credit first. This first clip goes to none other than Bill Colarulo, who put this one on my radar. Thought this would be a good news at noon story. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with Jason Kelce, the New Heights podcast. I don't know if you guys saw the picture circulating from Sunday night of the Lions player that looked like he shouldn't have been in white pants, or at least should have cleaned himself up a little bit from something that might have happened.
I did not see this.
You did not see this?
No.
It looked
Somebody
as if
crapped his pants?
It looked as if he may have done that.
He said he sat in Gatorade, apparently.
It did not look like that was the case.
Was brown Gatorade?
Wow, that's what he said.
All right.
Yellow Gatorade didn't look right? Yeah. Gross. Kelce had his unique perspective on this matter.
And he has nothing to be ashamed of. I am here to have your back, James. I have done this. Dude, I did this before a game once.
What is this?
You know, like when you know that there's a possibility something just came up, but you're not certain.
You got white pants, you got to get off the field.
I turned, and I'm not going to announce names. I turned to my buddy, my O-line friend, and I was like, "Hey, can you check me? Because I think I might." Right? And he checks me. He says, "You're good." I go out for warm-ups, do the whole warm-ups. Lane comes up to me after warm-ups. He's like, "Hey, you guys all up and down your pants right now." So in between warm-ups and the start of the game, I keep my shoulder pads on, take off all of my all of my lower half.
All of it.
Get in the shower and showering.
Oh, that's funny as you felt that nasty. You had to
dude,
it was
disgusting.
Why is toilet humor so funny?
I don't know.
What is it about toilet humor?
It's something that we found funny as kids.
Fart humor.
Always.
Crap your pants humor. What is it about us?
I don't know. My kids love it
Not very
too.
Sophisticated.
Not at all. I
It's
hope everyone
not.
enjoys their lunch, by the way.
Yeah, how about Jason Kelce admitting crapped his pants before a game? It's pretty hilarious.
We know too much about Jason Kelce.
Have you ever slipped that way?
Never. But you know, can you say, you could say shart, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That slip.
That started from a movie that you ridiculed me for liking. The Along Came Polly movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman's character is the first time I've heard that term.
I don't ridicule you. It's just like you're like these silly ass movies are all in your wheelhouse.
That is such a good movie, man. It goes out to I got to get out of here. I sharted. Oh,
I think I've done it.
I've never done it.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
I've done it.
Yeah, knock on wood on that one. I have a friend happened to him. Not great. High school field trip for him.
I will say, we had just moved into our house, and the toilets weren't flushing, and they had forgotten to take the cap off of the vent or whatever, so there was no pressure. And it's in the morning, and I got to do what I got to do in the morning. The closest thing to us that had a bathroom was Wegmans. I barely made it there.
Oh, yeah, there's always close calls.
Barely made it. But because of that, I love Wegmans now for being open and having a nice, clean bathroom.
I gotta admit this. I didn't have a bottle in my car the other night.
Oh, no.
So I pull into a CVS. I was on my way to the shore. Now, there's a CVS and a Wawa. They're right next to each other. People that know, if you're pulling into Ocean City, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So I roll into CVS because I got to go in there anyway and get something. And there's no restaurant in that CVS.
And that Wawa doesn't have one either, does it?
I'm at the brink. So I run out of the CVS into the Wawa, which also doesn't.
Yeah, they don't have them there. You got to go to the Acme.
I couldn't make it to the Acme. So I go back into the CVS, going, okay, I can probably hold this until whenever. I'm thinking until I get to my house, and it was not to be, because as I'm checking out, I had a little leakage.
You're admitting this on the air?
I have to admit it.
Thank you for being vulnerable with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm being very vulnerable.
Wait, this was this weekend?
No, it was 2 weeks ago. I just held it until now.
You've had a rough couple of weeks. Poor Mike.
No. I was at the brink. And going from one to the other, like that was the rescue. And it just, All right.
What else you got ready?
What's next? It wasn't bad, all right? Wasn't like I wrote the book IP Daily.
Okay. We're going to keep moving on.
It was just a
Oh, man.
No story feels more important than that one. Draymond Green was talking on a podcast recently about advice he's gotten from LeBron. And this is an interesting line. I'm curious how you feel about it. As he talked about LeBron giving him advice on what to do when it came to either staying with the Warriors or moving on to Memphis.
Gave me, and there's millions of them, but the one that stands out to me the most was when I came to an inflection point of, do I lead the Warriors or do I was going to go to the Grizzlies? And when I was making that decision, we were actually sitting together. We were in Paris at Fashion Week. And so I asked him, I'm like, Brian, what would you do? Because on the table I had for Memphis 3 for 105. I only signed 4 for 100 with the Warriors. It was a big money difference, no state taxes in Tennessee. And I'm talking to Brian. He's kind of saying like, yo, it's hard to pass up the money, but he keep going back to everything that Golden State means to me and like everything that I've done there. And ultimately his advice was more so like, yo, you just done something so special there. You got a chance, you have a chance to continue there and keep doing it. Why not?
$5 million doesn't seem like that big of a difference, to be honest with you. I get the no state tax thing. Now, if Memphis was offering him 120, do you think that would have made the difference?
I'm sure it would have, but LeBron's the one telling him to stay because you've done something special?
Yeah, because LeBron knows about legacy.
LeBron, who took his talents to South Beach?
He took his talents to South Beach so he could win to create a better legacy. They've already won in Golden State. That legacy's already there. LeBron was chasing a winning legacy.
Listening to this,
there's a difference.
It makes you think, like, this definitely happens. We don't know about it, like guys talking about different teams. But it is interesting from the perspective of someone who's watched the LeBron versus Warriors back and forth this entire time. If the Warriors continue the start they've had this season, does LeBron have a hand in the Warriors continuing on?
Of course he does. But see, the thing about LeBron is he would accept that challenge.
Right.
Now, speaking of LeBron, I got to rip him since we brought him up.
Oh, the Bronny thing?
Did you see the Bronny thing and how the statement they released? Do you have the statement?
Oh, I didn't see the statement.
Oh, there's a statement.
Oh, that's even better.
That actually indicts LeBron as having influence on that. So Bronny is only going to play in the G League home games. Like, what? Are you kidding me? You can't silver spoon the kid once he gets to the NBA.
They silver spooned him all the way into the NBA. Why stop now?
Okay, but you can't then take it to this level. Oh, my God, he's my son, so I don't want him going on road trips. He's in the big boy league now. All right, we'll get that a little later. What's the third one?
All right, finally, we'll get to Draymond's teammate, Steph Curry, who has been given a lot of credit for the three-point revolution. Paul Pierce wants to see that credit placed with a former 76er.
Everybody talk about, they say Curry, the reason we play. I think a lot of the reason we play like this is James Harden.
Yeah, he learned how to get fouled.
Yeah, no, but
took
this is
advantage
like
of the free throw
everybody
line.
shooting step back threes, everybody going into their bag and getting to their three. Like, that's James Harden. That's not Curry.
We saw him building it that year at the Drew. We was like, oh, he about to bring that out this year.
Wow.
Three-point revolution product of Harden?
No. I mean, look, that step back is unbelievable, that move. Well, you got to give that to Curry, right?
Yeah, guys like a guy like Paul Pierce is like he's just a troll. He just says stuff to put a controversy in it. That fits his personality.
Yeah, I think maybe the poor shot selection revolution could be Harden. And that's not to say Harden when he took them as bad, because Harden could make them.
Yeah.
A lot of these people think they're James Harden with that step back, and they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Curry and that offense runs in Gold State, I think, is revolution that people can't necessarily match.
Yeah.
That you're constantly trying to find a way to match it with your 3-point volume.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, that's the news at noon. We'll get to that Bryant thing later. I can't believe it. I would think LeBron would have the opposite view. That's like taking your kid to school. Bill, suppose your son plays piano. And you go in and you go, listen, I'm going to bring him to school here, but he's got delicate piano hands, so no phys ed classes.
It's a good analogy.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, what, are you kidding me?
The one thing I did see on this was Windhorst ripping it, which was different. That's unique to win.
Since LeBron made his whole career. All right, 610-632-0975. It's how you climb in. It is game night. Let's get it up here. Game night in Philadelphia. Sixers. I guess Sixers on my mind. Eagles, Commanders for supremacy of the division.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Flyers-Senators game.
No. They play tonight?
Yeah, big Flyers game tonight.
Is it?
Not really.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
6:13, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let's get it going. I sense maybe a little overconfidence from the Eagle fan base. Are you sensing that?
I am. There's a lot of confident people.
Yeah.
There are. I'm confident, too. I don't know why, but...
What a turn of events. From unconfident to this game will be easy. Double digits, people are going.
Yeah, that may be a little much. That may be a little much. But wait, what was the last texter? 31-13?
Yeah, we had 17 points and 18 points as the two differentials by those texters.
I think it's going to be a closer game than maybe people think because you also have to factor in it's a Thursday night game. And we've seen that before where on Thursday nights teams aren't always firing on all cylinders. You got a short turnaround for both teams. The Eagles were in Dallas. They didn't get home on Sunday night till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's a really short week. I think they're going to be good enough to win the game. I just don't know if you're a double-digit win may be asking a little much.
You know, here's the thing. I'm convinced now that the Washington Commanders are a better team than I thought they were. And they had a really heartbreaking loss last week. So maybe that gives them a little more impetus to get past that by winning this one. You know, had they got smoked, their confidence would have been knocked down a peg. But they basically lost that game because Ertz didn't get an extra yard.
Yeah, Ertz right on the line. Right on the line. Yeah. He's got to get the sticks.
So I don't know how that's not as devastating because they know they could have won that game.
But it was probably Jaden Daniels' worst game.
Yeah.
But you're going up against a good Steelers defense. But how about Zach Ertz still doing it, man?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he still wants to play. Like,
yeah.
I would go, come on. You know, why do I need this?
And we're still talking about yards after the catch.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Rick, by the way, because you can either go Rick or Rich.
Is he Richard?
An interesting phenomenon. He's Rick from Easton. What's up, Rick?
Miss, you're the best. Leakage on the air. I love it.
Slate. It was Slate. It was a Slate. Slate oil leak.
It's all for the enjoyment of the listeners, Mikey Miss. He's a man of the people.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you got to admit your fallacies.
First things first, I keep forgetting to ask you, how's your daughter doing?
She's doing great. I was with her last night, my birthday dinner. She took me out to dinner.
Oh, very cool. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
So with a name like Rick, you guys had to have Googled it by now. Come on, Steely Dan. I can't sing. Ricky, don't lose that number.
Classic.
It's R-I-K-K-I.
Yeah, it's a classic.
This is like General Knowledge Thursday. Anyway.
That's right, yes.
So I had to call in because that guy's driving to South Dakota. Believe it or not, you know my passion for wrestling. I'm actually, after the game, I'm heading down in an hour. I'm officiating a Division I, Big 10, Big 12 wrestling tournament in Brookings, South Dakota, right outside of Sioux Falls.
Oh, my God.
Damian Hahn, most guys don't care in Philly, but the Damian Hahn was a 3-time state champ from Jersey, 2-time national champ from Minnesota. Turned that program around in South Dakota. You got 3 guys from their transfer portal from Iowa. They're going to be tough this year. They'll be 40, 45 all.
They're not as tough as Penn State, Rick.
Well, no.
The standards for college wrestling. That's right.
Penn State just landed 3 more top flight guys.
Of course they did. Of course they did. They're unbeatable.
You know, they're going to win 13, 14, and 15 in the last 16 years.
There you go.
Incredible.
K.L. Sanderson.
Yep.
Wait, I thought Cody Rhodes was the champ.
Matches too. Listen, so here's what I think. I think this is, even on a short week, I may be crazy, I think this is an old-fashioned SEC, because why their ratings are so high. From a couple years ago, Alabama and Georgia were number 1 and 2, and LSU was knocking on the door. This is Alabama-Georgia shootout. I'm thinking 31-27.
Wow. Okay.
I just think unless this is going to be a cornerback blitz, which they haven't done yet, I think the kids are getting primed for it, and they got to contain Daniels, and they got to keep him in the pocket because he's a little banged up. If they can play defense, it's going to be a lot lower scoring. But for some reason, I'm feeling a 31-27, 27-24, old-fashioned Southern SEC shootout. That's just me.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. There he is, Rick. We got some wrestling knowledge he threw on us.
But that's a big difference what Rick just said.
Mm-hmm.
31-27's a cover. 27-24 isn't.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. That's why I don't know if I would I may be more along your lines, Mike, playing the money line for the Birds, because I do think it's going to be closer than some fans think. The text board's been predicting blowout after blowout. Is it another blowout on the text board?
Josh Sass from our YouTube chat checking in. 29-20 Eagles. 3 touchdowns, 1 missed 2-point, 3 field goals. Commanders get 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Knicks scores are tough to predict.
What's our tough to predict?
Knicks scores. I'm assuming Sirianni games. I think he's thinking. He does have a missed 2-point conversion in there, so I imagine that's weighing on the mind of some folks as they put their predictions in of what exactly Nick Sirianni is going to do.
But check out Josh Sass. Double duty. He's commenting in our YouTube chat right now, and he's texting us. See, that's a true fan right there.
It really is. By the way, I got to put this out there because I know a lot of people around here, Penn State haters. And I always, I see the people from Rutgers here, the people from Temple, people from Gettysburg. I always go with the low, like too small. Right? So right now, just for your point of information, Penn State wrestling ranked number 1. Penn State women's volleyball ranked number 1. Penn State football is ranked what? 3?
Yeah, but they can't beat anybody.
I'm just saying. That's pretty damn good. Pretty good sports programs this time of year, don't you think?
I think Penn State's ranked 4 in
4? Okay. 1, 1, and 4. Not bad.
Right. What do they rank?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, they see silence. This is what I get. I get silence.
You want me to play the song again for you?
Pretty impressive. And silence. I get silence. I get nothing but haters. They're insufferable.
Wait, and this is because women's volleyball is ranked 1?
Wrestling's 1. Football
4.
4. 3, 4. Well, they're 4.
Do you follow wrestling at all or no? I'm talking about the college wrestling.
I follow Penn State wrestling.
You do?
Yeah, they're a juggernaut. They're unbeatable. I don't know how they do it. They're ridiculous.
Well, they recruit.
Yeah, but so does everybody else. Like the Big Ten is a great wrestling conference.
Yeah. Now, do you watch the other wrestling?
No.
The wrestling entertainment?
No. I watch the Big Ten Network when Penn State is wrestling somebody really good because it's always on. It's a big match. Big Ten Network. So it's pretty exciting. They packed the house for wrestling.
Didn't they eliminate it from the Olympics?
They did?
Did they eliminate wrestling from the Olympics, Ray? Did I make that up?
I don't think so.
Yeah, when I go
Roman, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
610-632-0975. They're insufferable.
I think I made that up.
Mike Missanelli Show continues. too. I got to straighten out a couple things here. A couple things. First of all, there's no greater jealousy of Penn State than people who went to Pitt. So I got a flash tweet here. You're a clown. Penn State is not number one. Pitt beat them. So I made a mistake. I was looking at the Big Ten rankings.
For women's volleyball.
Pitt actually is number one in women's volleyball rankings. So there you go. Oh, glory be to Pitt.
I think whoever tweeted you also was a first-time texter because we got a first-time texter that said Penn State is not number one.
All right, so Pittsburgh is number one.
And speaking of number one,
that's the only time any sport there will be ranked number one, by the way.
Speaking of number one, you got to clear up
in football. And I got to clear up the other thing. So I'm just going to volleyball rankings. It's Pitt, Nebraska, Louisville, Penn State. That's women's volleyball.
Thanks for clearing that up because I was worried.
Yeah, I knew you were worried. And another thing, I got a text with one of those little poopy emojis, and thanking me for I'm the man for admitting. Let's straighten something out here.
Yeah, it wasn't number two.
It wasn't. It was number one. I was talking about
something Penn State will never be in football, but that's what it was.
It was number one. No, I didn't. No, come on.
No, you wouldn't admit it. You wouldn't admit that.
I didn't mess my pants. It was just a little,
It is funny how many people a half hour ago are thinking, "Wow, Mike just admitted."
Yeah, no, I didn't admit that. That didn't happen.
I thought that was very clear what he was admitting.
I thought so too. But take it and run with it.
Apparently, people went right to two. Nah, it was one. All right.
Let the record show, please.
It's clear that
You're writing the story on
clear
it.
That up right away,
I think Crossing Broad already put an article up.
Because I still had a few miles to drive. I want, that would have been very awkward to sit back in the car if that happened.
But my question is, and I don't want to go too much down this road, but why not just pull over and do it somewhere on the side of the road?
Where?
Well, he was already in town.
Where are you going to pull over to a side of the road when you're coming into Ocean City?
When you're coming into Ocean City, dip under the bridge.
Dip under the bridge?
Yeah, under the 34th Street Bridge.
I thought I could make it to a legitimate bathroom.
Think about the alternative Crossing Broad stories here, okay? The one is Mike admits there was a little leakage.
Yeah,
the other one is
Mike gets arrested for public exposure.
Exactly, especially in Ocean City, whereas if you go 36 when the speed limit's 35, here comes the red light. They wait for people to go in that little strip.
Leakage might be in the best interest of the show.
JFK Boulevard, is that what it's called? When you come in Ocean City, coming up bridge, all of a sudden the speed limit goes right down.
That's 34th Street.
34th Street, yeah, but it's called JFK Boulevard, and then it turns into 34th Street.
Yeah. You're right, it does. It drops on you.
Yeah, and they wait for you. These people, they get like the brakes go on.
I think you can get away with it in the winter, though. Off season.
I don't need any of those tickets, those nuisance tickets.
I used to crab under that bridge.
Oh, yeah?
I like crabbing.
Yeah, we used to go out. My friends and I used to do that. We get up early in the morning. We go to, what was that place that used to rent boats? It's not there anymore.
In Ocean City?
Yeah, like on the other side where I am. On the other side of that causeway.
I know what you're talking about.
They used to rent little boats. So you take a boat out, a little motorboat out, you go to the channel, you start crabbing, grab a bushel.
Bushel of crabs, man.
Yeah. And we used to do it scientifically.
So you get bunker fish in there?
You put the bunker, you put chicken legs.
Oh, you would use chicken. I was always a bunker fish
I used
guy.
tie lines.
I love the hand lines.
Yeah.
That takes the skill.
It is. You pull it up real, and then
you get
got
the
to
net.
scoop. Yeah, you got to scoop. That's fun.
I love that.
You ever crab?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thoroughly enjoy it. We were bunker fish people, though.
You got a cooler full of beer. It's like 6 in the morning. You pound the beers when you could actually do that.
Now, when you catch the crabs, you make them with gravy?
Well, I don't eat crabs.
Oh, dude, you're missing out.
He does it for the love of the sport.
Crabs and spaghetti.
I love it.
Crabs and spaghetti is the best.
I know. I grew up in an Italian family.
It's the best.
Sunday crabs and spaghetti. The crab is not for me.
My favorite thing.
That's our Father's Day thing now. It's just picking crabs. Beers, picking crabs.
Yeah, but you're not doing it with gravy.
Yeah, I'm just telling you my experience with crabs.
Yeah, he's a Medigone. So he's cracking crabs on newspapers.
Do you have any Italian or no?
Yeah, I'm 50%.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Your mom's Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your mom knows how to make a little crabs and gravy.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, no. I was spoiled with good Italian food. My mom, my grandmother.
I didn't know that side of you, right?
Does the ginger come from the Italian side?
So we're actually northern Italy. So
so
there
it
is
is.
some of that there. So that's how it all kind of.
Oh, you're one of those snobby Italians from northern Italy.
I don't think you would call my
They
family.
look at us southern Italians.
Yeah, exactly.
They're animals down there.
I don't think you would call the hills in which my cousins live in up in Italy.
I don't know.
That's
Northern
snobby.
Italy.
Whatever, Ray.
All kinds of judgment from the north to the south.
Yeah, again, I don't think they're snobby. That's not exactly the word I would use to describe how they
I don't
work
think I
up there.
like you now. Jamie in Washington.
It's going to happen at some point.
DC. Jamie, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, fellas, how's everybody
What's
today,
up,
all right?
Jamie?
Game day, divisional game, Thursday
Absolutely.
night, short week. Two things, and then the spread. So first thing I would say is that with Daniels being the X factor, you got to contain him. Pittsburgh did a really good job of doing it last week. A lot of people who are Commanders fans or Redskins, they know they're ahead of schedule. They got a brand new coach with Quinn and have a pretty dynamic quarterback. But you keep him in the pocket. Also, a lot of drop passes. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if Robinson is going to go for them.
Says yes. It says yes, he's a go.
Well, then that could be, we talked about Rock'em Sock'em, passing NFC East football. You could see a lot of running.
Now, are you a Commanders fan or are you a transplant from down there?
No, I grew up in Delco.
Okay. All right. So
I've been down here for 20 years. So I've been through this. The Landover Field is Philly Part 2. There's always more fans. This year, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So you're giving us the vibe. They've turned that franchise around. So is there a spark down there for the Commanders now? Since Josh Harris has come in there?
No, I'd say it's more the quarterback, just the way he's played. They beat Arizona on the road. They beat Cincinnati 2 games. They've only played the Giants twice. But no, I'm definitely an Eagles fan. Always have been, always will be, and my kids are too, or they got to find somewhere else to stay.
Right.
But the other thing I wanted to mention was they got a cornerback, St. Juice, I think his name is.
Yeah, Benjamin.
I'd be tearing him apart. And thanks for taking the call.
All right, you got it, buddy.
That's the matchup.
Little scouting report.
That's the matchup. He's not wrong. A.J. Brown's going to have his way with Benjamin.
Wait, was Josh Harris at the game last night?
He was, courtside.
Was he?
Yep.
Wow.
He was wearing a Commander shirt.
I guess, staying. Why not?
I'm only kidding. He wasn't.
No, why not stay in town? Yeah, that's what you're just going to go to the game tonight.
He's got to hide himself tonight. You agree? Like, he can't be down on the sidelines if the Commanders win.
Well, he's been on the sidelines before.
Yeah, but not this game. We already have our issues with him owning the Commanders and the 76ers. You're telling me he would show his face down there and celebrate?
Well, what's his most valuable asset?
Probably the Commanders, right?
Of course it is.
Wait, doesn't he own a soccer team too, or no?
Yeah, he does. An English soccer.
What's that worth?
It's not as worth as much as the Commanders.
How do you make his money? On Wall Street? Was he an investment guy?
He was a venture capitalist. I don't know how those guys make
Crystal Palace, who he's got in terms of.
Crystal Palace is a soccer.
He's a general partner.
I didn't know he was a Wharton guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Wharton and then Harvard Business School. Stop showing off. Josh Harris.
Let's go to John in South Philly. John, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. John.
Hey, Mark Janice, how you doing?
What's up, John? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm over here. First of all, I got a call violation, man. Who goes to Ocean City on the 34th Street Bridge? I mean, part of the experience is the 9th Street Bridge, man. I mean, everybody, and there's plenty of places.
No, I go beyond Ocean City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't go to Ocean City. I go beyond towards Sea Isle.
Okay, I got you. I give you that. I just feel like it's part of the experience. I'm on 27th, and it's easier to go 34, but I jog 9th Street a lot, and I got to tell you, plenty of places to pull off and take a little leak under the bridge. No.
I'm telling you, when you're sitting down, you don't really notice it. I knew I had to go. I go, okay, I'm headed to the CVS. There's about to be a bathroom in there. And I just forgot there wasn't. And then I ran to Wawa, and I forgot there wasn't one in there. By the time I got back to CVS, it was the breaking point.
You couldn't make it to the Acme.
Times are changing, man. Anyway, listen, I got to admit, I got so much confidence coming into this Commanders game. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know why. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not sold on. I mean, I don't know how you watch football and see a team go 10-0, 11-1 year after year, winning these games, and you just can't get on board with them. But I've seen the Eagles do some things I've never seen in my life. I'm born in '86, left-time closer for a guy. I'm just used to the heartbreak, but I try not to let that influence my decision going forward. But I woke up this morning just thinking we are going to stomp a mud hole in the Commanders tonight. I placed my bets. I'm going touchdown plus, numbers. And then I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm going, why? Where did this confidence come from with the Eagles fan base? Where does it come from me? I just don't understand, because they've given you nothing. I mean, I'm even hearing
you got to look at the tea leaves. Like every season is fluid, right? So right now, let's look at the conference they play in. Like who is really their challengers in this conference? Can you reasonably and forget about past disappointments? You look at this team right now. Are they reasonably the second best team in the conference right now?
Well, Mike, I think they're the best team in the conference, but I've thought so for the past 20 years.
Well, they're not
every year.
But they're not always the best team in the conference. That's why you got to examine what they are at the moment. Now, earlier in this season, we couldn't say that, but right now they're on a roll. They found a formula on offense. The defense is playing lights out. So, objectively, you go, oh, they're pretty good.
I don't agree. I don't disagree. I think they're above and beyond the best team in this conference.
Well, I don't think they're the best team in the conference yet. I think they're one of them. I think the Lions still are.
You're giving the Lions a lot of credit, and I seen them on their progression upward. And yeah, you know what? I'd love to. I think if the Eagles were half as hungry as Campbell's got those guys, feeling right now. But at the same time, they're young. They're not used to winning. I mean, playoff time comes.
Well, no, they're not. The Lions aren't really young. I mean, they're building. They were building up. And last year, they were a legitimate playoff team. So they're a progressing team. They're not a young team. They're a progressing team. They're building something good, special, and they built something pretty good.
Now, the Lions. I mean, they went to the NFC Championship game last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're not a young team. All right, so let's look at the power rankings, which you disagree with here. These are the NFL.com power rankings. Number one in football, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think that's too high.
Well, of course you were going to say that because you just don't respect the Lions. You hate the Lions.
No, I think that the Lions right now should be the number one ranked team in the NFC. But they're coming off a game where they really should not have won against the Houston Texans. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in that game.
You know what your buddy Dan Campbell said about that? When it's not your day and you can still win.
I think I've pinpointed what I hate about Dan Campbell. There's a few things, but I think the main thing I hate is that he ends every sentence with man.
When it's not your day, you can still win, man.
Yeah. It's not your day, we can still win, man.
That's all right.
That's a great job by the defense, man.
Yeah, let's not pollute what I'm trying to do here.
Sorry.
Detroit is number one. Over the unbeatable Kansas City Chiefs, who are number 2. Number 3.
You can't.
The Buffalo Bills are 3. The Baltimore Ravens are 4. And at 5, your Philadelphia Eagles. So you're talking about 1 to 5 as far as NFL.com. A lot of smart people there ranking. Lions 1, Eagles 5 in all of football.
Yeah, I would put the Lions at 4. I would put those 3 AFC teams above them. But I would put the Lions above the Eagles right now. They're 8-1.
You're stubborn, man. You're just a stubborn. You just don't want to give it up. Yeah, that would deplete you as a person if you gave it up.
Think about this world.
Mm-hmm.
Our January. First off, Bill, welcome new baby into the world. Great. And then Eagles go to the NFC Championship game. So leading up to that game, you have to sing Sirianni Love, Mike.
Yeah.
And then Bill, for a week, gets to rip apart Dan Campbell because they're playing the Lions.
It's going to be a great time, isn't it?
And the cynic in me, unfortunately, thinks that could you imagine a world where Mike sings Sirianni Love? You rip Dan Campbell for a week, and Dan Campbell is the one that puts an end to the Eagles season, and you have to come in here upset about Dan Campbell, and Mike has to come in here a week after singing Sirianni Love and rip apart Sirianni?
See, I look at it a different way.
What a January that'd be for us.
I look at it a different way. Mike will be singing Sirianni Love. I will be predicting that Dan Campbell will make a dumb decision to lose them the game, and then it will come to fruition. And everyone will say, Bill, you were correct. Dan Campbell is reckless and makes dumb decisions as a CEO coach. It's not just Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Now, if he's actually two forms of a tree that you tap. So the maple tree, we've already said he's a maple tree, and you tap into him, and Sirianni syrup comes out. Now you go to the holly tree, and you tap that, and you get
a little prickle.
You got Campbell hatred. A little flows out of the holly.
I just think, look, Dan Campbell does a great job at building a culture. But him and Sirianni are the same
I'm
guy.
tired of hearing you
they are
about
the
Dan
same
I don't even want to hear
guy.
anymore about Dan Campbell. So, number one. They're ranked number one. You still can't give it up because you hate the guy's demeanor. All right, so it goes Eagles 5, Minnesota Vikings 6, Pittsburgh Steelers 7, Washington Commanders 8, Green Bay Packers 9, Los Angeles Chargers 10. Well, there's some shoddy teams now that are getting ranked here. And then the Cardinals, all of a sudden, at 6 and 4, are ranked 11.
Yeah.
You're just throwing darts at this point.
Wait, where do they have the Niners?
I don't have
13.
The Niners are 13?
I look at the NFC and the teams that should make the Eagles nervous or Eagles fans nervous. The Niners, the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings. That's who I look at as potentially being competitive. But really, I put the Lions and the Eagles at the top.
All right, we got a prediction text. Ray, what does that one say?
We got a couple of double-digit ones coming in. This first one, no explanation needed here. 34-20 Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Another double-digit 14-point win. See, this is what I'm saying. People are very overconfident. We're not getting the back and forth today. We're not getting the fright night calls. I'm afraid of this game. Not one. They're not even going there. Now, is that good or bad that they're overconfident?
I don't think it matters.
We got someone saying that it's a little bit of a mush, but he's blaming himself. Brian Somerton saying 31-17. Oh, whoa. Sorry, I misread this one. He's got the Commanders by 14.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
Whoa.
There's no way the Eagles, they're too good of a team to lose like that. Like early in the season, maybe when they didn't have an identity. They have an identity now. They have an offensive and a defensive identity.
Yeah, but this is definitely the best offense that they've faced, certainly since the bye. So I am curious to see how they look against this offense. But I do think you're right. I think this defensive identity is going to be one that should be able to shut them down. But the X factor is Jaden Daniels' legs. How do they go into this game? What's the game plan? Is Nolan Smith spying them?
And at this point, nobody, and I mean nobody, is questioning the competency of Nick Sirianni as the head football coach.
Hell yeah.
It's the Mike Missanelli Show. The big 1 o'clock hour is up next.
Mike Missanelli Show has been holding court.
The Eagles and Commanders tonight, with first place in the division at stake. And I'm pretty confident about the Eagles in this game. And the reason I'm confident, one is I don't think that Washington is prepared for a game this big in their growing up phase. And also, I think they had a really a lot rougher game on Sunday than the Eagles did. So I think the bounce back factor is very important. The home game factor is very important. The place will be lit up tonight. I'm pretty confident that the Eagles take a dub here.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
I'm excited. It's fun that you have an NFC East opponent that's 7-3. Game matters, but I'm not worried about. Look at who the Eagles have played because they're dominant.
All right, let's just go over a couple things. The Eagles enter this game the second-ranked defense in yards allowed per game. The Commanders enter with the fourth-ranked offense in average yards gained. And one of the things that we're looking at is the return of a couple of important players for the Commanders. They're going to get their right tackle back, and also Brian Robinson. So one of the writers says, with Robinson back, I'll give the edge to the Commanders' offense.
Look, I get that the Eagles haven't played anybody, but this defense is flying around. They've really looked good, Mike.
The Mike Missanelli Show holding court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1 o'clock hour, Mike Missanelli Show, brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lion Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors, equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job are available at Ferguson's counter locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. A little earlier in the show, we had an interesting topic about a story that our pal Tim McManus wrote on ESPN.com, detailing a meeting of sorts that offensive linemen had with their head coach. And the offensive linemen were Lane Johnson, Drew Mailata, and Landon Dickerson. And it was at the NovaCare complex after they lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks. They went in and said, Nick, we got to get something off our chest. We need to run the football a lot more. Now, there are two different perspectives here on this. One is that the tack the Bill took, obviously, was that Sirianni was savvy enough to adapt to the wishes of his players. I, however, countered with the argument that, well, if that was so simple, why didn't the head coach see it from the start? And so it's a very interesting discussion. Now, based on that discussion, I'm just looking at a tweet that somebody had sent me, and my Twitter is MikeMiss25, and it's a photo from the movie Rudy, and how they barged into the coach's office to demand that Rudy play, and they put their jerseys down, saying if you don't play him, Ara, in this game, you don't dress him, we're out.
So ridiculous.
What's ridiculous? What's ridiculous? The concept of that or Rudy?
No, the way this is getting so blown out of proportion by you right now and by this tweeter.
Oh, I'm blowing it out of proportion? I'm merely saying, well, it's reasonable to think that he could have figured that out by himself.
How did this story break anyway? I know we're talking about Tim McManus who dove
It's just
deeper.
A feature story. It's not even a breaking story. Well, it's a feature story.
Well, he dove deeper into it, but we knew this even before McManus's article. He just spoke to some of them about it. Mm-hmm. But this came out a couple of weeks ago, didn't it, Ray? That they had spoken to...
Recently. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks or last week, but recently we heard about it.
But here's why I think you're blowing it out of proportion. I said to you, if you look at their numbers before the bye, they were averaging well over 150 yards a game. 144, 186, 172. The only game they didn't have over that, they had 113 against the Bucks because of the way that game went, and you didn't have Lane Johnson. You look at last season, they had a top 8 rushing offense. The year before, a top 5 rushing offense. To act like Sirianni doesn't run the football, and you go back to 21 after the fertilizer speech, they leaned on the run. So I think this is getting a little bit blown out of proportion. Now, the offensive lineman did feel it was necessary to go in and say, hey, you have us. Use us. But I think that was more of put it on our shoulders as opposed to, hey, coach, you're an idiot. You don't run the ball. Because he has run the ball.
Let me dramatize it.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
Let me dramatize it because I want to play the role. Hey, can we talk? Said one of the offensive linemen.
Oh, and I'll play Nick. Sure, come on in.
And so they proceed to make the pitch on why the Eagles should shift towards a more run-oriented, offensive line-dependent attack. And here's what Malalis says. It was just reminding him, mate, you have weapons in the air, on the ground, and you have a hell of an O-line. We wanted to lead with, hey, before Saquon got here, you had us. Now you have us and Saquon. So use it. Dickerson. I want to bleeping win. Simple as that.
And they went from averaging 30 runs a game to 40. So
significant difference.
It worked. But I don't look at it
40,
like you
40,
look at it.
What do you run, 70 plays during the course of a game? 40 is, 75 plays?
Their pass run ratio has been a lot heavier run. But I just don't look at it as this shows that your coach is an idiot. To me, this shows that your coach is willing to adapt.
I thought it was cute that they related it to Rudy when the players went into Ara Parsegian's office. Speaking of Rudy,
which is a ridiculous scene.
Here's my sports movie rankings. 1, The Natural. 2, Hoosiers. 3, Bull Durham. 4, Moneyball. 5, Miracle. 107, Rudy.
You're not a big fan of that.
Now, am I wrong on the rating of Rudy? It's funny because the ND thing bugs me, much like the Penn State thing bugs others. But here's why it bugs me.
You're hating?
Here's why it bugs me. Yeah, I had that same kind of, like John Kincade has the attitude about Penn State. They're insufferable. Notre Dame fans are kind of insufferable. But Notre Dame fans, it's interesting. Your college is your heart. The Notre Dame fans go beyond the college connection. They go with an ethnic connection.
Yes, most Irish will root for the Fighting Irish.
Right, and that kind of bugs me a little bit.
Well, if there was
it's really not like a pure college worship. It's a concept of being an Irish Catholic.
If there was the Fighting Italians, would you root for them?
There would never be the Fighting Italians.
Oh, you got St. Joe's, I guess.
St. Joe's. Yeah, there's no Italian university.
No, there's not.
Maybe in Italy. There you go. There's the Notre Dame fight.
But yeah, you do
Conference realignment, going to get a team in it.
How you like Rudy, Ray?
He was offsides.
He was offsides.
Well, in general, as a movie.
It's the first practice of the year, and this bleep hole thinks it's the Super Bowl.
In general, as a sports movie, how you feel about it?
As a kid, yeah, cool, fine. I'm good with it. As an adult, I'm not searching it out.
So when it comes on, little Sean Astin is trying to make his way on the squad with Rock.
Samwise Ganji.
You know how I am with movies.
Charles Dutton.
It's not
caretaker.
on the list to watch. If it comes on, I'll pass. I'll keep moving on the Rudy game.
Now, I haven't seen Rudy in a long time, but I will say the scene where he's opening up the acceptance letter, I did get a little emotional when the last time I saw it. That did get me. And then when the janitor gives the 3 strong claps.
Let me ask you a question. I'm trying to the guy who played Dan Devine, the coach of Notre Dame, isn't that the same guy who played the Vaseline ball pitcher in Major League? Is that the same actor? Like I'm trying to relate it in my head because normally I put these matchups together. The guy played Dan Devine, the coach that would not dress Rudy, and then had to go into his office and tell him to dress Rudy or we're going to revolt. Wasn't that the same guy who played the older starting pitcher who started that playoff game, and Ricky Vaughn had to come in the playoff game late? You know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The guy who had a problem with Pedro Serrano in the locker room because Pedro was into voodoo.
I don't remember.
See the way this show goes, it goes all over the place. I think it was the same guy.
I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up.
And that was the same guy who played the senator in The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, this guy's been in a lot.
Yeah.
He is in Major League.
Yeah.
Eddie
It's
Harris.
Major League. What?
Eddie Harris was his name.
Eddie Harris in the movie.
He was also in Hoosiers.
Yes, he was one of the angry town folk.
Yes, he was in Hoosiers.
Yeah, so what am I on my list? Are you agreeing with my list here? We got a break coming up, so before we get to the break. Natural, Hoosiers, Bull Durham, Moneyball, Miracle. You know what? Remember the Titans has got to be in there. I screwed up.
Remember the Titans is good.
Remember the Titans has to
I
be
told you don't agree. I got the program in my top 5.
Yeah, it's not top 5.
Loved the
Good
program.
movie, not top 5.
Now, would you consider
classics.
a movie we were talking about last week, White Men Can't Jump? Would you consider that a sports movie?
No.
There's a lot of basketball in that movie.
Yeah, but it's not basketball. It's not like league basketball. It's just
it's street ball, man.
It's just playground.
Isn't that how you grew up in Bristol?
Yeah, that's not a sport. It's just that's just recreation.
I love that movie.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
November
game night in Philadelphia, Eagles and Commanders, and for a game that's two pretty good teams, a pretty good Amazon matchup tonight. For a game that has this much at stake, Eagle fans, I think, are very confident about this game. It's amazing what a run of really good games does for a fan base. This fan base is going from freak out mode early in the season that coach should be let go and fired to now where they're just in a rocking chair.
It is interesting. It's interesting, too, because we're only one game removed from a lot of people still calling for Sirianni's job because he made all those decisions that people didn't like against the Jaguars. They only had the Cowboys game, and it was a dominant performance, so there was really no need for any in-game decisions, but the noise has quieted. In fact, you started to hear some of the other narrative about Nick Sirianni, some of the things I've been saying.
So, and you are I swear you're like a hog in a trash heap right now. The way you love this whole thing going on.
Listen, I have been critical of Sirianni when it's warranted. I have. I went after him.
You haven't been critical of him at all.
I went after him hard.
You always veil it with something positive.
I went after him hard after the Jaguars. I went after him hard after what he did on the sidelines against Cleveland.
Get the truth meter out.
I went after him hard after New Orleans.
The truth meter going crazy in there? Yeah.
I am objective when it comes to Nick Sirianni, and I think most people lean negative. I just think there should be equal praise when it's warranted to the negative when it's warranted.
No, it is really interesting though that you, when you get a chance to praise him, it's like one of the happiest times of your life.
No,
it really is. It's like if you could put a biorhythm meter on you, like your biorhythms go way up when you get a chance. They really,
Ray's having too much fun.
They really do.
Ray's having too much fun.
In here.
They really do. It just takes the least little thing for the tap to go in the lava of Sirianni syrup coming out.
I will admit that this summer, once I took the position that he deserved to come back, and that was overwhelmingly the minority view, I then found the need at times to maybe go over the top in my praise because I felt like people were over the top in their negativity.
Yeah, but that
I was trying to balance it out.
When you go over the top in the praise, that makes people want to go the other way because they don't want to hear your syrup. Too much syrup on pancakes is no good. You don't taste the pancake. Am I right?
What's your go-to syrup? You have a go-to syrup?
No, I don't have a go-to syrup.
You like a real expensive maple syrup?
I don't care.
You only go like a Mrs. Butterworth, nice.
Hey, I don't do pancakes. When I'm doing pancakes, it's usually out for breakfast at a place. So whatever syrup they give me, it's what I do. But I don't have a go-to syrup. Like I'm not whipping myself up pancakes in the morning. Unless I have a lot of people in the house or something. Or, I'm at the beach and there's visitors.
You may find this as a surprise. I love the protein.
I knew it. I turned my mic on to ask that question, and I knew what was coming.
You may be surprised by that. Our listeners may be surprised. There is a brand of protein pancakes. Ray got up and walked out. There's a brand of protein pancakes that's phenomenal. And I'm forgetting what it is. It's got the bear on it. Oh, man, what is it?
Kodiak or something?
Yes, the Kodiak pancakes. It's phenomenal, Ray. Phenomenal.
Right?
I know people who work out. I just don't.
You know who I saw devour plate pancakes once? You remember when Uncle Bill's used to be there in Strathmere? Now it's not there.
Yeah, they're still in Ocean City.
Delville, on that Delville property.
Yeah, it used to be.
So I used to go in there a lot because I'm close. And Jason Kelsey was in there one morning. Jason Kelsey in South Palantonia. Coincidentally, I walk in. Kelsey had a stack of pancakes. I swear to God, it was as tall as a cinder block.
You know Sal Pal, obviously.
Yeah. He doesn't talk to me anymore.
Yeah, he does.
So I used to know him.
Well, Sal Pal, when I was trying to get into the business, Sal Pal gave me advice. He said,
"Stay away from Mike."
No. Said, "Shorten your name."
Your name.
He goes, "Look what I did. I go by Sal Pal. Shorten your name."
So Bill Call?
And I'm like, I don't want to shorten my name. And then I thought of I'm a big Sebastian Maniscalco guy. I think he's hilarious. I'm like, Sebastian Maniscalco didn't change his name. I'm sticking with
your
my
name's
name.
not that long. Let's change it.
It's hard to say, though. People don't know how to say it or spell.
What's so hard about Calarulo?
Now,
Well, you're Italian. Most people can't say my name. Then they can't find me. Like on Twitter, my handle's @BillCalarulo. People are like, can you spell that on the air? Because we can't find you.
Are we just going to move past him once again, comparing himself to Sebastian Maniscalco? Like, we're just going to let him do it?
I don't know more about the protein. He can't even enjoy breakfast. He's got to have the protein. Like
they're so good.
Just sit there and like slop down some pancakes with butter with a side of pork roll. You can't do that.
So, I don't like pork roll.
Oh
I'll
my
go bacon.
God, what
I'll
is
go
wrong
bacon.
with you? What are you, a communist?
I'm not a fan of pork roll.
Not like pork roll
because bacon is far superior.
Oh, man.
Bacon is far superior to pork roll. It just is.
All right, let's go back to the phones here. Kodiak. Andy in
I knew
Lambertville.
that. General Knowledge Thursday.
Andy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andy.
Hey, good afternoon, gents. How you doing?
What's up, Andy?
I'm doing all right, thanks. I'm looking forward to the big game tonight. I like the Eagles to win, obviously. I think Fangio's going to figure out this rookie quarterback. I think there's enough on tape. But before I talk about that and specifics, on behalf of the YouTube chat, Mike, your fit is looking great today. You got the safari vibe going. Very nicely done.
Oh, man. So,
I had the leather coat on?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
You had the,
I had the
earth tones.
I had
they were
I
saying.
had my outdoor look going today.
So Andy called in because they have been commenting on your fit in the chat.
Oh, really?
For about 3 hours now.
Really?
Yeah,
And they
loves
keep
it,
telling
Mike.
me
You're looking
to
good,
bring it
man.
up on the air, and I've been ignoring it. But they kept saying, "Then we're going to call in." So they. called in.
Was it too much?
No, it's good, man. Everybody, it's like Crocodile Missanelli.
You know, I was a little chilly, so I kept the little jacket on.
There were
most
some
of the
good.
day.
There were some really
Yeah.
good comments in the chat.
No, you're looking good, Mike. Way to go, bud.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, but the Eagles tonight, I think, Fangio, this is his time to shine. He's the old seasoned veteran defensive coordinator against a rookie quarterback. Maybe throw some wrinkles in there, whatever, confuse the young guy. He's been great so far, but maybe tonight's the night where, some of the shine comes off.
Well, we'll see. I'm making a mistake of being totally confident too. Maybe I shouldn't be. I just think they're better than the Commanders right now.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. I feel like if they could just stop the run game and then force Daniels, and then I feel like the young corners are playing well. It'll be interesting to see how Q does against Scary Terry. I'm looking for a pick six tonight. I'm throwing that out there.
Is Slay playing tonight, Bill? Slay?
He's playing,
he
but
is?
we'll see how long he lasts. I mean, he keeps checking himself out of almost every game.
He does. He'll beat up right now.
But
Slay man.
So you're not a fan of giving people nicknames too early.
Yeah.
But he just called Quinyon Mitchell Q. I think he's earned that already, the kid. He's good, man.
I don't know. I don't know about the Q yet.
Yeah, the kid, he's shut everybody down. Tonight's a big test, but he has basically shut down everybody.
Next year, Q. Not this year.
All right, people are hitting me up with some of the nicknames they have for you today.
Oh, really? Wait.
You got
it. It was because of this.
It was because of the leather jacket, which is a nice jacket.
It's a worn leather jacket. Yeah, it's like
And they were saying you're wearing all earth tones today.
Yeah, it was an earth tone day.
But we got
the hat.
Indiana Mikey, General Douglas McAnally,
General Douglas,
the Bristol Bushwhacker.
It's not like a Crocodile Dundee look. I got a ball cap on. I just had I kept the leather jacket on because it was a little chilly this morning.
Pablo Espinelli, Mike Bajanelli. There's some good ones in here.
All right. 610-632-0975. That's pretty clever.
My favorite one was from earlier, though.
What was that?
They said that you looked like an archaeologist about to go out for a dig.
Well, he's kind of like a frontier look.
I think it's good.
It's not an archaeologist. Look at the frontier look. I'm looking for a bonfire with a Coleman hot plate.
I like the jacket. I do. Someone said you looked like you were in the Beastie Boys too.
Okay. Yeah, we ought to play more Beastie Boys. I got a Beastie Boys song for you, Ray. Like an undiscovered Beastie Boys that we're going to have to come back with on a return with. I wrote it down. I write these songs down on my phone when I hear them. I never heard that BC Boys song, but I like it. Anyway, it's Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this. Still time for your calls, still time for your texts. We got a prediction text that we have to get to. A lot of people are going more double-digit than anything tonight with this game, which usually that scares me when everybody's on that side. But I don't think it's really difficult for me to believe that a Commanders team that has made this kind of a surge this quickly is going to come off a loss against a really tough team where they get banged up a little bit, and 3 nights later come to Philadelphia and be superior. I just can't see it. So what else do we have on that text board, Ray?
We got a prediction from Doug in Garnet Valley, 28-23 Birds. I don't think we're there yet to get a double-digit win off of the Commanders. However, with the run game rolling and the defense, we should be good with a 5-point victory. Mike, glad to hear you back.
Oh, thank you very much there. 5-point victory? Yeah. I could see that. That's a cover.
So I don't know what this means, but
I can see what that money line is.
Under the common opponents that they've both beaten, the Commanders have beaten the teams on average by 8.5 points. The common opponents that the Eagles have beaten, they beat by over 16 points, almost double. So take that for what it's worth. But if you're looking just at common opponents, the Eagles have dominated them. The Commanders, not as much. And again, the Commanders played the Giants twice. So the argument that gets made against the Eagles all the time is, well, who have they played? Well, who have the Commanders played? And I think Vic Fangio, if we're just looking at this game, rookie quarterback, veteran defensive coordinator, I got to take the veteran defensive coordinator. He's probably going to figure something out to throw at this kid that will confuse him. So that's why I'm confident, but I don't know about a double-digit win. What's the money line at?
I got to check this out now. The money line, Eagles are minus 200. It's now, I'm seeing a 4-point line.
Did it move? It's still 3.5 on FanDuel, but minus 200. That's what you're at?
We're listening to the show.
Bet Rivers app, minus 4, minus 200.
And the over's 49.5, so they're expecting some points tonight.
Yep.
We'll see.
Minus 200 looks like a good bet for me for tonight.
You going to take it?
I think I might have to go there.
After
my brilliant victory last night with the 76ers covering.
That was a nice pick. I usually stay away from betting games like this, though.
How about this parlay? Moneyline Eagles. Saquon Barkley to score a TD. A.J. Brown to score a TD. Jalen Hurts to score a TD. Plus 800.
I hate the Barkley anytime touchdown. Because unless he scores from 5 yards out or more, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
I love the Hurts one and probably the A.J. Brown one.
Does Hurts plus the money line get you plus money? Because that's enough juice for me to say, yeah, that might be worth a little investment.
No, this is a parlay. We have to take all of it.
So if you go Eagles money line, Hurts anytime touchdown, that will get you plus 141. If
Sounds
you go
good to me.
Now, if you throw in instead of an anytime
you're
touchdown,
getting fancy.
the first touchdown,
you're getting fancy.
Now you're at plus 640.
All right, how about this one? At plus 3,500. Over 3.5 successful field goals. Eagles money line. Over 40.5 points. Halftime tie.
So I'm on, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to steal your line here. Why don't you just put a quarter on pop and spin the wheel at the Wildwood Boardwalk?
Wait a minute. Plus 3,500. Over 3.5 field goals. Can you see 4 field goals?
No, and I'm going to tell you why.
Really?
I'm going to tell you why.
Wait, can I guess why?
Go ahead, Ray.
Washington red zone defense.
Correct. Washington, 30th red zone defense. 70% they're letting touchdowns. Eagles, top 10 red zone offense. So I don't expect a lot of field goals from the Philadelphia Eagles.
And the side that he won't say because he's fearful of the potential ramifications of these decisions, you know Sirianni's going for points tonight.
All right, I'll give you one more because this is the same plus 3,500. Hurts to score 2 touchdowns. Eagles money line. Jaden Daniels anytime TD. Saquon anytime TD.
I don't like it.
Well, what don't you like about that one?
Well, I don't like Saquon, again, because of what we talked about. So for Hurts to get 2 anytime TDs means you're getting 2 tush pushes probably, which means those are 2 touchdowns Saquon didn't get. And then you go to Jaden Daniels. He only has 4 rushing touchdowns this season, so it's not a guarantee he's going to get one tonight. I don't like it.
Okay.
I would just stick with something simple. Eagles money line, Hurts anytime touchdown. You're not getting great odds, but you're getting plus, and that's all I would look for.
All right, let's go Lenore in Philly. What's up, Lenore?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
All right, so...
Or is this just Leonard, or is it Lenore?
This is Leonard.
Leonard. All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Leonard was spelled on my board, Lenord.
Yeah, it's not the first time. It's not. I have the easiest
He
name
just
in-
corrected.
We got youngins back there. That's all right.
I have the easiest name in America, and people can't even spell that.
Yeah.
So this is my take. One, I don't know how you guys even bet, knowing that you have to account for the Sirianni effect, which is doing the exact opposite of what is considered the norm. So there's no way I would take any of that. And the issue is that, Bill, if the offensive lineman knew that you were quoting stats of like rushing yards of 140 yards from last year, well, then why did the offensive lineman take it upon themselves to have a meeting with him to tell him to do or run more of it or run consistently or whatever they wanted? It doesn't explain why they had the urge to do that.
Bill?
Yeah, no, I'm with you because the numbers I was citing were from this year. They were from the first 4 games before the bye, which is when they went and spoke to him. During the bye week, the Eagles had 144, 186, 172, and then they had the Bucs game where it got out of control and they only had 113. So
okay, so why did the vets go up to him?
It's a good question.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that we have to think outside. It's not that. They obviously had an issue with it and realized that they were leaving a lot of meat on the bone for whatever reason, whether that was Hurts being under center more, or Saquon running more. There's an issue there. So I think I think he's lucky better than good. And I just don't think that he is the coach, that he should be the coach. I'm a distant.
Leonard, I get it, but that's just a tough time to make that point, though. I gotta be honest with you. It's a tough call to ride Sirianni's butt, when they're flowing right now. And listen, let me ask you this: do you think he's been different? Do you think he's been more mature?
I mean, to be honest, I think if we're talking about the maturity of a coach that's coaching a professional team, I think we've missed the ball. I think
There's no way you can evolve.
You can evolve, but for a guy that's getting paid over $7 million, we shouldn't have to be having this conversation, Mike. You know this.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we can't sit back and let the kid evolve, let the guy evolve. Because he's a long way from. My assertion that he was a goof. Like right now, I can't even use that word.
Well, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
Well, when we say
no, I'm not a goof right now. He's been serious. He's been resolute. He's been he hasn't mentioned Mount Union. All
so
that.
much good.
But when you say evolve,
it's a mature man.
Yes, but as a head coach, the guy's done a pretty damn good job. And listen, we've been citing this article. Sirianni is also quoted in this article from Tim McManus. He says, I spent a lot of time with Jalen, obviously, during that bye week and just talking through things. Jalen had so much good insight, and then you always listen to your players as far as they are the ones out there seeing it and feeling it. So I think it's just good feedback. That's just good organizational football.
Well, it's also evolution because we knew that the relationship between them wasn't that great. And we knew he was kind of acting like out of control, immature. And he's kind of curbed all that stuff.
Well, that's great. But then Mailata says he really acknowledged us. We felt heard. Lane Johnson added, he's very responsive. He's very back and forth. He's not going to dismiss you. That's why I think Nick is great. He listens, and we make changes, and we adapt. To find negative in this, to me, is exactly the reason why I think I need to overhype Sirianni at times. Because we're finding negatives.
Nobody's feeling
in something
negative
that's
right now.
good.
That was an aberration, that call. Have you heard anybody complain about Sirianni lately?
Well, you found the negative in this. You said, why does the offensive line, that's how we started the show, why does the offensive line have to come in and tell the head coach?
Well, that's legit.
And I'm saying I think it's a positive that they felt comfortable enough to go to him and said, hey, listen, as we self-scout during the bye, let's lean on this running game, man. Put it on us.
I want a coach that has all the answers. I want a coach to be able to see the answer before somebody has to come in and tell him the answer. That's all. That doesn't mean I'm down on Sirianni right now. Again, my eyes are wide open.
Sirianni love, coming January. Coming January.
Eyes are wide open. I think I'm the fairest sports talk host that ever lived.
Now, I have a dilemma.
I really do. I think I'm number one when it comes to fairness. Because I came in saying he should not have gotten his job. But once he got his job back, you don't hear me going, he should be fired, he should be fired. I go, my eyes are wide open. It's a big marathon this season. So I will then judge him accordingly.
So here's
That's fair. Is it getting any fairer than that?
But here's my dilemma.
Don't you laud me for my fairness?
I do not.
All right.
But I have a dilemma because you said you will sing Sirianni love if they make a conference championship. The divisional game will be January 18th or 19th. My daughter is due January 15th. So now I sit here. What am I more excited about, the birth of my child or to hear Mike Missanelli sing Sirianni love? It's close.
You're more excited that Sirianni actually gets to the game.
It's close.
That could be number one on your priority list.
I'm going to cut that audio, and that will be my gift to you.
You going to take maternity leave?
So wait, MBD just asked, does Nick Sirianni need a restraining order against Bill?
A lot of people around the Delaware Valley asking that.
Are you going to take paternity leave at that time and miss the chance to worship?
It's going to
your favorite coach?
Well, I guess it depends on when my daughter's name will be Bianca. So it depends on when Bianca is born. If it's in the middle of the week, maybe take a couple days. I mean, it's going to be hard to miss. I love being here, Mike. I love seeing you and Ray every day. It's going to be very difficult.
Sure it is.
I love my arguments with the best show ever before they come on the air. It's great.
Wait, you really get engaged in those arguments, man. You know, for me.
Can we get a promise from you?
It's just like
it is. The one thing I will say that I love about our station, though, people are pretty. What's the word I'm looking for here? Where our opinions aren't just for radio. Like, we truly believe in what we're saying. So what happens is it spills into the hallways where we're yelling at each other about our opinions. It's not all made up, contrived conversation.
Yeah, I don't get paid for that conversation there. So,
Mike,
I'm out.
Mike's like, I spent 4 hours arguing.
I have no energy to argue with people here about their positions. I am off the clock. When I walk through that door, I am off the clock. And when I walk in the morning, I ain't on the clock yet.
Yeah, you see, I go over and I start yelling at Ricky.
Yeah.
I want, just to be clear here, going back to this potential postseason dilemma for you. If they are to lose and Sirianni makes a gaffe.
Oh, I got paternity leave, unfortunately.
I was going to say, I want to make sure we're on the record that you will be here.
No, look, and you said something earlier, Mike, that I don't think is accurate. That I haven't been critical of Nick Sirianni. When he deserves to be criticized, I've brought it. It's just I think when the offense doesn't look great, we automatically go to Sirianni.
I don't know if you brought it. You've mentioned it. I don't think you brought it. You may have mentioned it.
I called him an idiot for what he did against the Jaguars.
I don't remember you calling
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
All right, in any event, it's time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident? Call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, let me look at a couple statistics for tonight's game. I've already told you I like the Eagles tonight to win the game, whether they cover or not. It's like a push and a shove here, or a push and a pull. The Eagles averaging 25.9 points per game. That's pretty good. That's 7th in the league. Their red zone's pretty good. They've scored 28 points plus in the last 4 games, but the Washington defense is pretty good. 21.7 points per game they allow. They're 12th in the league there. And when I look at what the major factor will be tonight, it's the running game. The Eagles' offensive line is pretty strong when it comes to this run. And the Washington defense is pretty good against cornerback runs, but not that good against running backs. They give up 4.9 yards per carry. That's 29th in the league. I think they're going to get a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley tonight. And listen, maybe they spy Jalen Hurts. Maybe they're going to be so aware of that they neglect what the Eagles' bread and butter is, which is to get the ball to Saquon. I think Saquon's going to bust through a couple of long yard runs tonight. So I got the Eagles winning the game. Money line bet for me tonight. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Money line, forget about the number. Bill?
So we kind of see the game very similarly with regard to the running game, but I think the major difference in this game will be red zone efficiency, because you look at the Eagles' defense, number 3 in the NFL in red zone defense, Commanders 30th in the NFL in red zone defense. The Eagles are going to force the Commanders to settle for field goals, whereas the Eagles' offense, that's a top 10 red zone offense, will score touchdowns. That's going to be the difference. I'm going 31-24. I don't know about the score. That's always the tough part. But I think the Eagles will cover, but I'm a little bit nervous it may be closer. But I think you're going to see more touchdowns from the Eagles. They'll have a higher red zone efficiency when we're looking back at the game.
31-24 means a lot of field goals, so the number 31.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to do it in my head.
That's why you ought to play that parlay.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to do it in my head. Because I'm thinking 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 27. Yeah, doesn't matter. They're going to win the game. Don't worry about the score. That's what I always think is tough when we do our predictions. Like, predicting the score is almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they cover or not.
Ray, who do you got?
Eagles 26, Commanders 20. Birds cover.
Another cover.
There's a
All
missed
right.
2-point conversion in there somewhere.
We'll check it out. We'll talk about it tomorrow. It'll be a spirited show tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Let's go, Birds. We'll talk to you.